Stand up, New York Giant fans. Got some news coming out today for the draft. I'm excited about the draft. I can't stop thinking about it now that it's getting closer, which kind of putting on the back burner because you see all these rumors as they're starting to circulate. We're getting closer to draft time. I said, you know what? We see the rumors from Peter King today. I'm sure you guys see a lot of other rumors that you guys may want to talk about, being that we're now only 3 days out and things are going to start to heat up real fast. I'm going to be live talking Knicks tonight. Obviously, the big Knicks game tonight as we go for 10 straight. But tomorrow night, I'm going to be live with Bobby from Talking Giants. We're going to give our opinions on the draft. We'll talk about it together. I think we kind of have a lot of similar opinions when it comes to what we think the New York Giants should be doing in this draft, but it should be a really fun conversation. But today, I wanted to go over the Peter King rumors. I wanted to talk about, with you guys what I think, where I'm leaning, and it's a guessing game at this point in time. We don't know what the New York Giants are going to do. First off, we're picking 11th. Okay, so for everybody that's going crazy, you see all the things all over Twitter, all over Instagram. Oh, Devontae Smith went to Madison Square Garden. Oh, Devontae Smith tweeted out this, tweeted out that. He wants to be a Giant. There's 10 other teams that could block Devontae Smith. And listen, I've been hyping Devontae Smith to the Giants since January. I'm sticking with that. Going into the draft, Devontae Smith is going to be my pick for the New York Giants at 11. I've kind of wavered here and there, back and forth. But when I think about it, I think it makes sense. There's smoke there. I think he is going to drop to the Giants. And if he doesn't, I think Jalen Waddle will. And then there'll be, some questions to have. But that's just my opinion. That's just my guess. The Dolphins could easily take him at 6, so on and so forth. But you're going to see a lot of smoke leading up into the draft. And we're going to talk about some of that smoke today. You're starting to see people talk about the possibility of the New York Giants drafting a cornerback at number 11 overall. I've seen Art Stapleton talk about it for a while. I've now seen Dan Duggan come out and talk about it today. There were rumors coming out from Peter King that the New York Giants may have some interest in J.C. Horn. I want to talk about that. But first, let's say hello to the chat. What's going on there, Michael Nixon, man? What's going on there, Alec? What's going on there, Landon? What's going on in Afghanistan? Royal Money in the house. Matthew G in the house. Pack Rat in the house. Lloyd in the house. King in the house. Albin in the house. Christian in the house. Michael in the house. King. Trizzy in the house. R. Zachman in the house. Christian in the house. X-Man, what's going on? Dr. Drake, thanks for being here. Stephen Lim, amazing guy. David A.V. Gucci Lopez. My man, the sports influencer, says I'm pumped too, my man. Can't wait for draft day. But let's talk about the J.C. Horn stuff. Okay, first off, I've said countless times if you watch my channel, I think the cornerback is the coverage in general, whether it be the cornerback, whether it be the slot, whether it be safety. In this defense, I've said it since we brought Patrick Graham in here. In this defense, coverage is more important than anything else. So let's get that out of the way. So for people that want to go corner, for people that want Surtain, for people that want J.C. Horn, I understand where you're coming from. But here's what I'm going to say. If the New York Giants select a cornerback at number 11 overall, when we have the needs that we have on this team after we spent $13 million a year on Adoree Jackson, it doesn't add up to me. It doesn't add up to me, and I think it's smoke. Had they not signed Adoree Jackson, I would have been pumping the pom-poms to take a cornerback in the first round of this year's draft. I've said countless times that I think the New York Giants need to address the cornerback in this offseason, and I would have been completely on board with selecting one at number 11 overall before we signed Adoree Jackson. They then spent $13 million a year on Adoree Jackson, $39 million overall. Doesn't make sense to me. And Colin, man, thank you very much, man. Stand up, new member. Welcome to the squad, my man. Doesn't make sense to me to then go out and draft a corner. You could have spent that $13 million elsewhere. You could have spent that on the edge. You could have spent that on the offensive line to replace Kevin Zeitler. Why would you have spent $13 million on Adoree Jackson if you had plans to draft a cornerback in this year's draft? To me, it doesn't add up. And I'm going to tell you my opinion as to why the New York Giants are leaking this information right now. And I said it on Twitter today, and it's my honest opinion. Let me ask you guys a question. Is it beneficial for the New York Giants if 2 cornerbacks go in the top 10 picks? If they don't want to take a corner? Because obviously they spent $13 million on the cornerback position in free agency. We signed Adoree Jackson. The old adage is you spend in free agency to set yourself up for the draft. So is it beneficial, if we're not leaning corner, for the New York Giants to want more than 1 or 2 cornerbacks go in the top 10 picks? And if it is, wouldn't it make sense for the New York Giants to leak and say, yeah, we got interest in J.C. Horn. We got interest in Patrick Surtain. Chargers, we know you need a corner. You better trade up if you want him. We want 2 corners to go in the top 10. That's my line of thinking. I think the New York Giants are blowing smoke. I think they want teams to jump them to take a corner, so one of their guys drop to them. Who is that guy? I don't know. Is it Micah Parsons? Is it Rashawn Slater? Is it Devontae Smith? Is it Jalen Waddle? I don't know, but I'm not believing the corner hype. I am not buying into it, and maybe I'll be wrong, but I think it's a smokescreen. Chill boy, man. Thank you very much, man. Gettleman blowing smoke for Parsons or a hog for the offensive line. I agree with you. I agree with you. I think that's what I think is happening, but we'll see on draft night. I've been surprised before. Paul, man, thank you very much. We need hogs. If not at 11, go in the second. Yeah, I also posted that today on Twitter too. And we're going to get into more of the rumors as well. And what's going on, Sabrina? Thanks for popping in. We're going to get into some of the other rumors as well. I've come out and said that I'm a big hog guy. You guys know that if you watch my channel. I think games are won and lost, in the trenches, offensive line, defensive line. And it's why I support Gettleman and why I support his ideology. I think that's where games are won. That's football 101 for me. You got to win the trenches. But my thought process has been for a long time that we're going wide receiver. And it changed a little bit after free agency. But then I thought about it. I said to myself, well, Darius Slayton, we don't know. We don't know what he is yet. Yes, he could very well be a starting caliber wide receiver, but we don't know yet. Sterling Shepard has had concussion problems his entire career, and they could very well cut him after this year. And if they feel like Jalen Waddle or Devontae Smith is a home run threat and they're there at 11, I still think it's entirely possible for the New York Giants to draft him. If the Giants go that route, and you guys know I want Slater if he's there. That's my guy. Penny Sewell or Slater, that's who I want. But if the New York Giants go that route, and if they go with the wide receiver at 11, second round, third round, you got to be looking at hogs. And there's plenty of them. You got Wyatt Davis. You got Ben Cleveland, more of a third-round prospect. I've talked about several interior offensive linemen that they could go after. Creed Humphrey, maybe if he slips to us in the second round, could play center for the Giants. There's a number of routes they could go, but I think that's where your head's got to be at. There's a lot of guys that I like in that 2 to 3 round area. That's where I think the New York Giants are leaning right now. Joe Tryon's a possibility. I am not believing in the edge height. I don't think that the New York Giants are looking to trade down to get an edge or to select an edge at 11. I'm not believing in that. Right now, my head is at the offense. That's where my head is at. That's what I think the New York Giants are going to do at pick number 11. I think it's either going to be Smith, Waddle, an offensive lineman, Slater, Penei Sewell, maybe Elijah Vera Tucker, or they're going to trade down. I do not think they will select a defensive player at number 11. That's where my head's at. I know a lot of people think Parsons. I do not. I do not think they will select Micah Parsons. I think there are character issues there. I think the New York Giants are going to read into that. And I could be wrong. And if I am wrong, I'll be happy. I like Micah Parsons. I think he's a very good prospect. In the end, I do not think he'll be a New York Giant. I think they're either going to go offense or they're going to trade down at pick number 11. I think they're going to go wide receiver, offensive line, or they're going to trade down with that pick. That's where my head's at right now. Chase St. Fulham. Chris Gonzalez, man, what's going on, man? I appreciate it, man. I like Slater or Vera Tucker. Yeah, I don't think Vera Tucker is getting enough. I don't think Vera Tucker's getting enough say. I don't think enough people are talking about Vera Tucker. I really don't. I don't think enough people are talking about Vera Tucker, at least as a possibility for the Giants. The other thing I wanted to talk about that a lot of people were talking about on Twitter today was that the Chargers came out and they proposed some deal or they flashed some deal for 3 minutes and they took it down where the Giants and Chargers made a trade. That was nonsense. It was Photoshop. That is completely fake. However, if that trade was possible, it had the Giants dropping from 11 to 13 and getting pick 77. Sure, I'd be open to that. You drop 2 spots, you probably still get the same guy that you would have got at 11 anyway, and you get a pick in the top 80. I'd probably want more than that, maybe a future third-round pick, whatever it may be. But that was interesting, but it's completely fake. So don't read everything that you hear on the internet. He's a plug-and-play Veritas. Yeah, I don't hate AVT. A lot of people they're going to look at mock drafts and they're going to say the guy's a reach no matter what we do. But I would not hate AVT at 11. Not, maybe not my first choice, but I would not hate AVT at 11 at all. I'd prefer we trade down to get him, but I would not hate AVT at all. What's up, Cecil, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, my man. Let me just catch up here. The Undertaker Talking Sports. What if we trade back to 20 with the Bears? Would you take Christian Barmore? No. We don't need an interior defensive lineman. So, no, I like Christian Barmore a lot, but we don't need an interior defensive lineman. So, my answer is no. The cornerback to me makes more sense. If you're trading back and say one of those guys fall, which they won't. J.C. Horn, to me, is not going to go outside the top 15. But the cornerback, to me, makes more sense because at least you could play him at the slot and maybe move him over to the outside eventually. I know a lot of people love Darnay Holmes, but he'd probably be an upgrade in the slot. And, the Giants focus on covers that way. But I'm not a fan of taking a corner, and I'm definitely not a fan of taking an interior defensive lineman in the first round. Dire Giants fan, man. Thank you very much, man. MP all the way, baby. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it, my man. And Grim says a lot of smoke of Horner Surtain at 11 right now. To me, it's smoke. And maybe I'll be proven wrong. I've been wrong before. I didn't think we were going to take Daniel Jones at 6. I was wrong. I'll be the first to say I'm not always right. I think it's smoke. I think the Giants are letting that information out because they want teams to jump them to take another cornerback so that they could get their guy to fall to them. Whether that's Devontae Smith, whether that's Micah Parsons, whether that's, Jalen Waddle, name the player. I think that's what they're trying to do. I think they're trying to get teams to trade up ahead of them that may want a cornerback because, if the Chargers really want a corner, they may say, wow, we better trade up. We better jump Dallas as well. Maybe they move up to 9. Maybe the Broncos move back. Who knows? I think that's what the Giants are trying to do when they're leaking that information. JD, man, thank you very much. Tana getting nervous. 3 days. Can you believe it? Dude, it came up real fast. And it's going to be here before you know it. We're going to be on the clock before you know it. And, I'm going to be nervous on draft night. I'm not going to lie to you guys. There's going to be – I already know when we're on the clock, and I've said this all along, I'm not going to flip out no matter who we take because I think we're in a much better spot than we've ever been in recent times at least, where I trust the coaching staff to get the most out of whatever player we select. But, of course, I'm going to have my preference. And we'll see who's there when they're picking. But, of course, I'm going to have my preference. But there's going to be 5, 6 guys I'd be completely okay with the New York Giants selecting at 11. But, yeah, you'll hear on draft night when we're on the clock who I want. But I'm not going to be able to tell you that until I see how the board plays out. But, yeah, I'm excited. I'm not as nervous as I've been in the past because, like I said, I trust Joe Judge. I trust the coaching staff. But, yeah, I'm nervous. I'm always nervous on draft day. Mike, man, thank you very much. Thank you for streaming Entertainer. I think we'll select Micah Parsons. I truly do. I think we finish our defense, but the Knicks get I hope the Knicks get 10 tonight. And I know Giants fans want Parsons, and maybe we'll end up going that route. I don't know, man. There's a lot, and maybe they'll look past it. Maybe they will. We got ties, on the coaching staff with Coach Spence. I don't know. There's a lot of fire there in terms of his character issues. We'll see if the New York Giants look past it. Historically, the New York Giants don't seem to be that type of team. We'll see. I am not, my thought process is we will not draft him. But would I be okay if we did? Yeah. I think he's a tremendous talent. Jordan, man, thank you very much. For the love of sweet baby Jesus, don't let us draft Greg Rousseau at 11. You're starting to see Rousseau drop more and more in these mock drafts. You're seeing him go back into the first, early second. I don't see Greg Rousseau being the pick at number 11. You saw that a little bit early on in the draft process. I don't see that. I think Rousseau might even slip to the second round. I really believe that. I think Greg Rousseau might very well slip to the second round. And when you watch him on film, it tells the story. The guy's not great off the edge. The guy's good in the interior. I know he's big, and maybe people feel like he has a high ceiling. I don't see the Giants taking him at 11 overall. I'm not going to say I would just faint if they did it, but I don't see it. I don't think Greg Rousseau will be a Giant at 11 overall. In the second, if he's there, it's possible. Grim, man, thank you very much. All 5 quarterbacks going in the top 10, book it. I would not be shocked at all. And here's what I'm going to say about that, Grim Solo. The more, like Gettleman said in his press conference, and it's only makes sense, the more quarterbacks that go in the top 10, the better for the Giants and everybody else, picking outside of the top 10. But what makes that more probable is if Mac Jones goes number 3 overall. If there is any validity to those rumors. And we saw that the 49ers on the same day sent their head coach and I think sent their GM, if I'm not mistaken, to the pro day of Mac Jones over that of Justin Fields when they were on the same day. I don't know if that means anything. There's ties there with the Niners and Shanahan. I'm hoping that's the case because if Mac Jones goes 3, I think it increases the probability that 5 quarterbacks will go in the first 10 picks. I think it'd be a big mistake by the 49ers. Mac Jones, to me, does not have the upside of Justin Fields. He does not have the upside of Trey Lance. And me personally, if I was a GM in the draft, and I've always said this, at the quarterback position specifically, not so much any other position. Other positions I may think differently. But at the quarterback position specifically, with the likelihood that that position will bust. I mean, you just look historically. First-round quarterbacks bust very often. Even number 1 overall picks, there is not an exact science to it. My thought process as a GM, if I was drafting a quarterback early in a draft, I would go for the ceiling over the higher floor. I would swing for the fences. So I am not, I do not love the pick of Mac Jones to the 49ers, but for the Giants, I would. Yuri, man, thank you very much. Do we trade down in the second or third round unless the best player available is there? The Giants wanted to trade down, then McKinney fell in our lap. Do we trade down in the second and third rounds unless the BPA is there? All right, I'm trying to get this right. Do we trade down in the, so you're saying in the second round, picking up 42, do we trade down and get more draft capital? I mean, I think it all depends. My guess for you, unless you mean do we get more second and third round picks, I'll answer both because I don't know exactly what you mean by that. If we're picking in the first and we're picking at 11, the only way that I think we trade down is if we want a player that we feel should be going later, whether it be 14, 15. And to me, that means edge rusher. And then you trade down, you get more draft capital. If we want Devontae Smith, we're staying there. If we want Micah Parsons, we're probably staying there. If we want Jalen Waddle, we're probably staying there. If we want an edge, if we want Azeez Ojulari, you name it, I think we trade down in the first round. In the second round, I think it's more likely actually that we would trade up than trade down. That's just my personal opinion. I think it's more likely if a player dropped to the back end of the first or early second and we really like that player, I think it's more likely we would trade up to go up and snag that player. For instance, if we took Devontae Smith and, I don't know, name the offensive lineman that you really like. Jenkins is really dropping. He's there at 28, 29, and the Giants feel very strongly about him. I could sooner see the Giants trading up to get a player they really like from the second round to the back end of the first or the earlier second round than trading back and getting more draft assets. That's my personal opinion on it. MY Giants 26, man, thank you very much. Chris, say we draft a wide receiver at 11. Rousseau falls to us in the second. Should we hold off on O-line and draft him? Depends how highly we feel about him. And it depends on, how highly we feel about the offensive linemen that are projected to go in the third round. I'm not gonna lie. You saw my team breakdown video where I graded every position, and if we're just talking need, I think offensive line is far and away our biggest need right now. I think the interior defensive line is like a D+. I think the offensive tackle is like a C-. How could you think otherwise? Matt Barrett started like 2 games? He got completely destroyed against the Arizona Cardinals. Yeah, he showed some promise, but he's still got a lot of work to do. Nate Soldier hasn't played in a year. So there's major question marks at the tackle spot. Andrew Thomas, I believe in. I think he's going to be great this year, but it's not a lock. Interior offensive line, who knows what we got right now? So I think that's our biggest need. That doesn't mean that's what we're going to do in the first round, but do I believe in putting it off until the third? No, unless you're absolutely head over heels in love with the prospect in the second round. But I want to shore up that offensive line, and we'll see what the New York Giants ultimately end up deciding to do. But for them to take a different player other than an offensive lineman in the second round, if they don't take one in the first, they have to absolutely, for me, to justify taking an edge there and waiting until pick 76 to take a lineman, he has to be so far up on your board. He's got to be, you have to think you're getting an absolute steal at pick 42. So if they had Rousseau ranked 25 and he's there, sure. But I think the offensive line at that point would be the biggest need, not even close, for the Giants. That's just my personal opinion. I know a lot of people say the edge. Tudo, man, thank you very much. Salute, my Goomba Chris. We should take a BPA talent, Rookie of the Year award, and a future Hall of Famer for sure. No brainer. Listen, I think we're leaning. I think we're leaning wide receiver in the first. That's really what I keep seeing this guy say. What? You said it like 8 times. What? What's going on there, Mike, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, my man. David Deal says we don't need to pick an offensive line in the first round. I hope David Deal's right. And Jim, man, thank you very much. What's your thoughts on Zaven Collins for the G-Man? Hybrid linebacker / edge. I'm a big fan of Zaven Collins, actually. I don't think we're going to take him at 11, and I don't think he'll be there at 42. He's maybe a potential prospect maybe you could trade back up for, but I doubt it. But I do like him. I do think he fits the scheme very well. I think he's versatile. I do like him. He's good in coverage. I do like Zaven Collins out of Tulsa. He's a good prospect. We got a lot of what's now. Don't you just love when people come in and just say what? Tell me why you're saying what? All right, no more spamming of the what's, please. I appreciate it. Stone Forsythe, great late round prospect. That's the offensive tackle from Florida, I think, right? Florida. Maybe we elect to go that in the third round. We'll have to wait and see. 774 people, 164 likes. Come on, guys. Spike the like. I appreciate it, man. Thank you guys so much for being here, man. I appreciate it. All right, please stop with the what's. 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 Or the huhs or all that nonsense. Please don't spam. And Royal Money, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. If Matt Jones goes 3, you mean Mac Jones goes 3, we should move up to 5 or 6 and grab Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts could very well go 4. I think Kyle Pitts could very well go. I think Kyle Pitts could very well go to the Falcons. And I don't want to trade up. We only have 6 picks in this draft. We're limited as is. The only way I'd trade up is if a guy dropped to like 9. And then I'd be potentially interested in trading up. If somebody dropped to like 9, I don't want to trade all the way up to 6. You'd have to give up future first round draft picks. I don't want to do that. For a tight end, I'm not a fan of doing that. I don't care how good the prospect is. For a quarterback, that's a different story. You want to go up, you want to secure your franchise quarterback for the future, which obviously we're not going to do. But I don't want to do that for a tight end. I'm not a fan of jumping that high. Are you honestly willing to give up next year's first round pick to get Kyle Pitts? Like, what if we finish with a top 10 pick next year? You're then giving up the 11th overall pick and a top 10 pick in next year's draft for Kyle Pitts. I'm not doing it. Why would I do that? I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Yeah. Here's what I'm going to say. I have spammers in the chat right now that are saying what? The next person that says what, kick them out. And not just temporarily, kick them out permanently. Block them from the channel. That's all. Who do you think the nasty Eagles will pick after us? Akeem says, well, I mean, as far as the Eagles goes, I don't know who's going to be on the board. I could tell you where I think the Eagles are leaning. I could tell you where I think the Eagles are leaning, but I don't know who's going to be on the board. As far as the Eagles go, I mean, yeah, I've heard rumors that they may be going with a cornerback with J.C. Horn. I've heard that they may be going with a guy like Micah Parsons, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And Jose, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Depends who's on the board. They could go with wide receiver as well. The Eagles are hard to mock for because they have a lot of needs. They have a ton of needs. And Jose, man, thank you very much. Edge versus offensive line is tricky. The real value for those positions is in the second round. Rousseau is very real at 11. I think pay at 11. Can't wait. Edge versus offensive line is tricky. The real value for those positions is in the second round. Rousseau is very real at 11. I think it's pay at 11. I really hope it's not. I don't want either one of them. I'm not going to flip out. I'm going to trust the people in charge. I'm going to trust Gettleman. I'm going to trust Judge. I look at Kwity Paye, as I've said several times. Very good prospect. Very good prospect. He's not what we need. He's not a stand-up edge rusher. He's a guy in the defensive line. I think right now you could argue the defensive line might be our strongest unit on our team. I mean, most people would say the secondary, but you could at least argue it. So, I don't know, man. I don't want to take Kwity Paye. And I know he weighs 261, but the guy's never played stand-up OLB. I'm not a fan of Kwity Paye at 11. I'm just not. Had we not brought back Leonard Williams, I would understand it more. Zach, man, thank you very much. Thomas Hernandez, Gates, Slater, pair. If Slater's there, I'm all aboard. You know that. He's my draft day crush. I would love Rashawn Slater. You get that offensive line. Okay, let's look at that offensive line. If you get it. Lemieux, you continue to mold him and you hope that he grows and becomes a better player. Maybe he fills in for Hernandez the following year if you're not going to keep Hernandez here long term, or Lemieux just ends up being a depth piece. But if you get that offensive line, you figure Thomas takes a big step forward next year. Matt Barrett is still a big question mark. Some fans may not want to admit that love the guy. He's still a big question mark. You hope that he molds and he gets better. You have Nate Solder backing him up. Slater, to me, is a guy that you could stick in the middle. He's been compared to Zach Martin. I think it's a pretty good comparison. Martin played tackle. They both had about the same arm length. Martin became a Pro Bowl guard at the NFL level. You move him over to the guard. You got Gate. Yeah. I mean, that to me is why the Slater pick makes sense. And Slater could very well play tackle as well if Barrett does not work out. So it's why I'm all about Slater. I personally, Zach, I just don't think Slater's going to be there. I think Slater's going to be off the board. Dark man, thank you very much. I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw Ingram post pics and one of him catching a ball. Some guy in the comments said the pic was photoshopped. It had to be. It had to be. Anytime he catches a ball, it's photoshopped or it's like a magic trick. Dark Liquor and Black Element, thank you very much. When my Eagles are picking, I'm closing my eye. You should be. Last year, you guys ended up taking the laughing stock of the draft. Nobody saw that coming with Jalen Hurts. Your wide receiver, it was a reach, in my opinion. Rager could still work out, and I guess so could the quarterback. But I wasn't a fan of either one of those picks for you guys last year, and I hope you guys reach again. I hope you guys make another bold pick this year. Maybe you take another quarterback. Mike says, stick him for sure. That's right. Chris, imagine we took Surtain. What's up, Nations, man? Glad to see you, my man. I think it's possible. Not likely, but I think it's possible. I mean, Surtain is very highly thought of. He's got Alabama roots. He fits the scheme. Do I think it's going to happen? No. Would I flip out? No. Is it what I want? No. Donovan, man, thank you very much. Hey, Chris, 3 days away from the draft, and I still don't know what the Giants are going to – neither do I. I'm just giving you guys an educated guess what I think they're going to do, but I don't know what they're going to do. And I don't think anybody who says they know what the Giants are going to do are full of shit because you don't know who's going to be there. You know, you could say you think they're going to take this guy. That guy might go in the top 10. You know, it's not like we're picking 4 like last year. Like last year, yeah, I knew. I said, okay, we're going offensive tackle. I couldn't tell you which one because you heard rumors about Wirfs, you heard rumors about Wills, you heard very little about Andrew Thomas, but I knew we were going tackle. This year, I don't know what we're going to do. We're picking at 11. You don't know who's going to be there, and they filled in a lot of needs in free agency this year, so we'll see what they ultimately end up deciding to do. Hunter, man, thank you very much. According to Bleacher Report, Gettleman likes Micah. Yeah, that's what I was going to talk about. It was actually Peter King that initially reported that. Gettleman likes Micah, Judge likes Smith, and the organization likes J.C. Horn. Who makes the final call? Well, first off, if you remember, Hunter Fay, report came out about a week ago that Gettleman was enamored with Devontae Smith. So if you're believing these rumors, which if I'm being honest with you, you shouldn't. It's smoke season. But if you're believing these rumors, you've now heard that both Gettleman and Judge love Devontae Smith. Parsons, yeah, I mean, I could completely understand why Gettleman would love Parsons. He's a great prospect. The character concerns are there, but if history shows you in the past, Gettleman ignored character concerns with DeAndre Baker. He had red flags coming into the draft. Obviously not the red flags that happened last year. So there could be validity behind that. The J.C. Horn stuff, he's a very good corner. He fits our scheme very well. He's man press cover. I get it. I'm going to stand by what I said. I think it's smoke. I think the New York Giants are trying to get teams to trade up to try to take a corner so they get one of their guys to fall in their lap. That's just my opinion. I don't think we're taking a corner. I'd be surprised if they do. But thank you very much, my man. I appreciate it. Yuri, man, thank you very much. Last year was tackle or Simmons. This year, to me, last year it was all. I mean, I was probably like 90% tackle, 10% Simmons. I always thought it was more than likely going to be a tackle. I left a small chance that it would be Simmons if they were in love with him and they were blown away by him. But I always thought it was going to be a tackle last year. This year, I'm leaning where I thought in January, Devontae Smith. I think he's going to be there. I don't know that. Miami could easily take him. But I'm leaning Devontae Smith. But I'm like 30%. Like, I'm all over the place this year. I don't know what they're going to do because I don't know who's going to be there. Ian, man, thank you very much. We're taking Smith, Waddle, or Parsons at 11, in my opinion. I'm kind of with you, Ian, unless we trade down. I think that's where my head is at as well right now. Like I said earlier in the stream, I think it's offense, and those are the 3 obvious guys. And I'd give Elijah Vera Tucker a small possibility. Small possibility. I'd throw him in there as a small possibility. But I think it's those 3 are the favorites and a trade down. Those 4 situations, I think, are the favorites right now, in my opinion, for the New York Giants. I give Parsons a small chance as well, but I think it's going to be offense if we stay at 11. I really do. MY Giants 26, man. Thank you very much. Chris, I think Gettleman will take Smith. Gettleman seems to get who the coach wants. If Judge really likes him, I think Gettle will pull the trigger. If it's true, yeah, absolutely. I mean, Gettleman's always done that. He's always worked with his coaches and tried to bring in guys that he thinks fits the scheme. I think he is the type of wide receiver that could definitely help us. He's a different dynamic, as is Waddle. You know, I keep seeing some people being skeptical of Waddle. I'm not. You know, I've been a big fan of Waddle all along. When I watch Waddle, now the injuries scare me. He had an injury this year. He reminds me of OBJ. He does. He reminds me of OBJ. I think he's that type of wide receiver. It's why I've been as high on him as I have been since this entire draft process. He reminds me of OBJ. I don't think he's a straight line speed guy. I think he's incredibly athletic. I think he could line him up all over the field. It's why I think Waddle's going to go earlier than Smith. I like Waddle more as a prospect. I really do. And Nick's going for 10. You're damn right they are. And Asia, thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate it. Mwah, there you go. Thank you very much. Sean Lee retired. Well, you know, Sean Lee was a walking, talking injury, if we're being honest. So I'm not too surprised there. And John, man, thank you so much, man, for the $2 donation, man. I really appreciate it. G-Man for life, my man. I had an absolute blast talking with you the other day on Ron's channel. Says, Chris, like you, I have trust in the front office. I just want us to make the pick that helps us improve this season. The Giants need a Knicks-type season. I need us to win the NFC. I'm with you. I'm dying for us to win the NFCs. And the other thing I want to make note of, and this is why, G-Man for life, this is why even more so, and again, I'm not going to cry if they take JC on, okay? I'm not gonna flip out. But I don't think it's going to be their pick, and I'd be very surprised if they did it. The other thing I want to make note of, Gettleman came out and said that he expects the 11th overall pick to be an immediate impact pick. To me, J.C. Horn is not an immediate impact pick. Maybe he'd play the slot, but is he going to be that much better than Darnay Holmes year 2 versus year 1? I don't know. I don't think it's going to be near the impact year 1 that several of these other prospects would be. I really don't think we're going J.C. Horn. Cruz on, man. Thank you very much. So Chargers posted a trade on their website saying the Chargers get the – yeah, I saw that. Cruz on. It's bogus. It came out after the fact. Somebody came out and said that they did it. It was photoshopped. And I think they posed as the Chargers, whatever it may be. It was completely false. But I will tell you what I think about the trade if that were to happen, because I think it is possible that a trade like that could happen if the Chargers wanted a cornerback. They wanted to trade up. They wanted to jump, make sure that they got their cornerback. I could see it, or an offensive lineman. I'd probably want maybe a future 3rd or 4th on top of that, but I'd be completely for trading down from 11 to 13 because you're probably still getting the same player you wanted at 11 or 13 anyway, and you're getting more draft capital. But it's a bogus rumor. There's no validity behind it, man. There's none. Little Breezy, man, thank you very much. Best second-round outcome if we go receiver in the first. To me, the best second-round outcome if we go receiver in the first, Creed Humphrey. I'll go Creed Humphrey. Creed Humphrey drops to us at 42. That would be my guy. Maybe you could say Landon Dicker, Wyatt Davis, but a very good interior offensive lineman is on the board for us at 42 if we go wide receiver in the first. That's my thought process. The other thing that you could say is an edge rusher. One of the better edge rushers drops to you, Joseph Asai, Joe Tryon, who I really like. Maybe that, but I would say interior offensive lineman is where my head would be if we go wide receiver in the first round. John, man, thank you very much, man, for the $2 donation, man. I really appreciate it, my man. Thank you very much. Let's see. And Kevin Huff, man, thank you very much. I feel the G-men need to address the guard position in the 2nd or the 3rd round. Well, yeah, 1,000%. Unless, of course, they draft one in the first. If they take Rashawn Slater, then that opens up everything. Then you could go edge, you go wide receiver, you go corner if you want in the 2nd, if you really love one. But I agree with you. If we don't take an offensive lineman in the first, I think it's 100% has to happen in the 2nd or 3rd round. I'm with you on that, and I would prefer no later than the 2nd. MY Giants 26, man, thank you very much. Get out of my head. Smith reminds me of OBJ too. See, to me, and I like Smith. I think Smith is terrific. I think he's going to be really good. Obviously, the biggest question mark there is his size. He doesn't Waddle reminds me a lot more. Waddle reminds me a lot more of OBJ than Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith to me is Marvin Harrison. I see that. I think he's more like Marvin Harrison, like that route runner, that good all-around wide receiver. Waddle to me is more like OBJ, like that guy that could take the slant to the house on a 3-yard catch. He could take it 90 yards. That's Waddle for me. He's a guy that you can line up over the field. He could go up and catch the 50-50, incredibly athletic. Smith, for me, is more like a Marvin Harrison type receiver. Not to say either one of these two guys are going to be as good as the two guys I just said. You're talking about two of the greatest wide receivers in NFL history. But though that I see him more like a Marvin Harrison, I see Waddle more like an OBJ. Thank you very much, MY Giants 26, man. I appreciate it, my man. And Mike Nixon, man, thank you very much. This is what happens when our free agency wasn't at. You're damn right, Mike. You're damn right, man. Yeah, it gives us the ability to go wherever we want in the first round. Dark, man, thank you very much. I swear Randall either drops 40 or goes 5 for 9. I think Randall's going to have a big game tonight. I will say this, though, Dark Liquor, if I'm being honest, and we're going to talk about it before the game tonight. Phoenix has a really good defense. DeAndre Ayton's a really good player. Bridges is a really good perimeter defender. Chris Paul, of course, a heady veteran. So I could see them giving Randall some fits tonight. We'll see. But I do think Randall will show up. He's going to score at least in the high 20s. Chicago Giants fan on Twitter. What's going on, man? My hot take, more than 3 quarterbacks in the top 10. Good. Trade back if your player is not there at 11, the only defensive player at 11 is Parsons. I agree with that. For the Giants, the only defensive player that I would want at 11 is Parsons if they're going to go defense. I agree with that. I'm not going to cry if they go corner. I'm not going to bitch, but I'm with you. If you told me before the draft what's the only defensive player you'd want at 11, I would say Parsons. I don't want to take a corner. And I'm a guy that prioritizes corner more than players like Parsons in the defense that we run. But we spent $13 million on Adoree Jackson. What was the point of signing Adoree Jackson to a $39 million contract for if you're going to then go and spend the first round pick on a corner? I don't know. I think that's overkill at that point. Not to mention you signed Logan Ryan to a $10 million a year contract for 3 years. The secondary, you've spent so many resources in. You spent $15 million a year on Bradbury, $13 million a year on Adoree Jackson. You signed Ryan to a 3-year, $30 million contract. You drafted Xavier McKinney. You got Jabril Peppers coming up on a contract. You got Darnay Holmes, who looked pretty good in the slot last year. Julian Love is a decent player. Yeah, is it an upgrade? Sure. But you can make an upgrade at any position at that pick. I think there's more important needs. So I'm with you on that, my man. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. And Jordan, man, thank you very much. If Slater isn't there, Smith/Waddle in the first, Jason Away/Joe Tryon in the second, interior offensive lineman in the third, Trey Smith, Aaron Banks, Ben Cleveland, Kendrick Green, my dream draft. Hey, to me, that's a good draft. You guys know if you watch my channel, Jordan, I don't know if you saw my mock draft. You guys know I am in love with Kendrick Green. And if anybody watching this stream right now has not looked at film of Kendrick Green, I suggest you do it. The guy is an athletic freak. The guy ran a 4.85 40 time, and when you watch him on film, his quickness to the second level really stands out. He's a former defensive lineman that converted to the offensive line. I think his freshman year in college at Illinois, if I'm not mistaken. And he's also played center as well. He's got versatility. He's played at the center and the guard spot. He's a super athlete. If we got him in the third round, I'd be jumping for joy. He is one of my draft day crushes. I would love Kendrick Green. Aaron Banks is a good player as well. Ben Cleveland, of course, all Giants fans like. And he has ties to Andrew Thomas. So if that happened, yeah, I'd be completely fine with that. I think Joe Tryon fits this scheme very well. I've also had him mocked to us in the second round of one of my mock drafts. I'm a big fan of Joe Tryon. So I think he fits us very well. But thank you very much. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. I don't like doing that. Sometimes it skips. I got Jordan. All right, I missed this one on here, but I got it on the phone. Michael, man, thank you very much. 900 people in here, only 39 likes. Oh, I can't be 39. You got to refresh, but get the likes up. I appreciate everybody for being here. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell. This is not adding up. Smash that like button. I appreciate it, Michael. Thank you. Oh, my God. Asia, I don't even know what to say anymore. Thank you so much. She says, Chris, stand up, my sexy Tana. When are you coming to Citi Field? And can't wait to see you, Tino, and hopefully Mage at the game. It's two things I want when I see you. One, to take a picture with you, and two, I definitely want a hug from you. If it's 2 seconds, remember my stand is 413. So I know. I met you last time I went to a Mets game, Asia. I know. 413-64. I was talking to Tino, and thank you, Asia. I can't say thank you enough for all the incredible generosity you always show, not just here, but to everybody on YouTube. I don't know what else to say anymore, so thank you. But no, I was talking to Tino after the Mets stream yesterday. I think we're going to try to go for one of the Atlanta games, but I'm not 100% sure yet. We'll see. But definitely when I go to a Met game, I'll be sure to come up to your stand for sure, and we'll definitely take a picture. Aaron, man, thank you very much. Hey, Chris, I posted a comment back at 248. Go check it out really quick, bro. 248? It's probably expired on my phone, but I'll try. It's up to 250 on my phone. I can't see it now, Aaron. I can't see it. I wish you would have just put it in the super chat. Did I miss a super chat? I don't like missing super chats, but yeah. I will try to look for you in the chat, Aaron. I'll put it down to the bottom on my phone. I'll try to look for you in the chat. So type it in the chat, and I'll try to see it, Aaron. Chill boy, man. Thank you very much. I think Tucker, bigger possibility than I agree with you. I think Elijah Vera Tucker is a bigger possibility than a lot of people think. I completely agree with you. He's not the sexy name. He doesn't jump off the page. He's not a wide receiver. He's an offensive lineman. Everybody says Slater. But if Slater's off the board, I do think Elijah Vera Tucker is more of a possibility than some people make it out to be, especially if we trade down to the 13 to 15 range. I definitely think it's a possibility. Nelly, man, he says, hey, Chris, so excited about the draft and can't wait for you and Bad Dog Stream. What pick at 11 would you prefer, would make you jump for joy? Sorry about that. Just got a text message. What pick at 11 would make me jump for joy? I mean, there are several picks that are going to make me jump for joy. I've always said it. The absolute dream for me is Penei Sewell, but I know that's not going to happen. Rashawn Slater would make me ecstatic. I would absolutely love getting Rashawn Slater because then I'd say to myself, okay, we got Andrew Thomas. We got Rashawn Slater. We're building an offensive line, a fortress for the next 10 to 15 years. So if you got him and, you hope that Parrott progresses and everything else. So I'd be very happy with that. I'd be very happy with either receiver, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle. I'd be very happy with that. I'd be very happy with Micah Parsons. I just don't think it's going to happen. Those would be the four guys, I would say, or if we trade down, of course. But those would be the four guys for me, Nelly. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it, buddy. And I agree. Somebody said Devontae Smith is crazy hands. I completely agree with that. Dr. Seuss, he says, how do you feel about the Giants taking Gregory Rousseau? I don't want him. No, I don't. Second round, yes. First round, no. I don't want him. I don't want him. He's the one guy that I really don't want at number 11. And I don't think we're going to take him. I really don't. I think teams looked at the film. I really don't think that's going to happen. And DJ Smooth, man, thank you very much. Second round, I'm okay with it, by the way. I want to keep saying that. Gregory Rousseau, second round, I'm completely fine with. Even if we traded down to like 20, would it be my preference? No. But if they took him at 20, I'd be okay with it. DJ Smooth, man, thank you very much. Kyrie and Katie cooked that defense crazy. Oh, God. We're already starting with the Nets, Knicks. We're going to see you in the second round. We're going to see you in the second round. I hope you know that, DJ Smooth. Get your popcorn ready. Knicks, Nets, second round. I hope you're ready for that. I'm going to tell you, I said it during my Knicks streams, DJ Smooth. When we play the Nets in the playoffs, because it's going to happen, round 2, I hope, the Knicks got home court advantage for all 7 games. Knicks get home court. You guys are going to be on the road for all 7 games. Because you and I both know when we play in Brooklyn, everybody in the crowd is going to be a Knicks fan. But I'm looking forward to it, my man. Round 2, DJ Smooth. Let's get it. Thank you very much, my man. I appreciate it. Let's see. Just make sure I didn't skip anybody. I got Dominic next. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anybody here. I got Dominic. And we're good. Dominic, man, thank you very much. Smith better be ours at 11. If he's there, I think he's going to be a Giant. I just think there's too much smoke there. One, obviously, he's great. The former Heisman winner. He fits this scheme. We could use a wide receiver with upside. He could be that guy for Daniel Jones for the next 10 years. Yeah, it makes sense. 2, ties to Alabama. 3, you've heard rumors that Gettleman is enamored with him. Now you've heard rumors that Joe Judge likes him. I just think there's too much smoke there. If he's there at 11, I think he's going to be a Giant. The question is, will he be? Will Miami take him? Will another team take him? But if he's there, I think he's going to be a Giant. John, man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I don't want to sound cliche, but Smith reminds me of Isaac Bruce. The route running separation, drafting him makes defenses pick their poison. Isaac Bruce is one of the most underrated wide receivers in the history of the NFL. One of the most underrated receivers in the history of the NFL. If you get a chance to look at Isaac Bruce's stats, go and do it. Isaac Bruce in his second year in the league, I think caught for over like 1,800 yards with the Rams. He's incredible. And if he ever turned out to be Isaac Bruce, I would be ecstatic. Isaac Bruce was a phenomenal wide receiver. He kind of got overshadowed a bit because of Torrey Holt and Marshall Faulk. Isaac Bruce is one of the top 10 or 15 wide receivers I've ever seen. If he turned out to be Isaac Bruce, I'd be ecstatic. But I do see the similarities, John. I do see that. That's actually not a bad comparison. Thank you very much, my man. I appreciate it. And King Sean, man, thank you very much. Stay away from my mayonnaise. King Sean, man. I appreciate it, man. Zion, man, he says 878 watching. Come on, guys. Let's get the likes over 500. I appreciate it, Zion. Spike the like, subscribe, ring the bell. Going to be here a lot. I'm going to be live tomorrow night, 8 o'clock with Bobby from Talking Giants. He's coming on the channel. We're going to talk a lot more about the draft, his opinion, my opinion. We'll talk about the first couple of rounds, and I'm looking forward to doing that. Maybe we'll be doing a mock draft with you guys together. Haven't really discussed it, but always love talking to Bobby. I think he's great. Definitely check him out over there and Talking Giants. Zion, man, thank you very much, buddy. We were going to have Justin on, but Justin can't make it. So I was going to have Bobby and Justin on, but Justin can't make it. And I might have Mike on as well. DJ Smooth, thank you very much. I was talking about cooking the Suns. Oh, well, you guys dominated the Suns last night. You guys beat them by like 17 points. Hopefully they're not desperate for a win tonight and they take it out on us. But I think the Knicks have a good chance tonight because they're playing a back-to-back. Asia, thank you very much. Chris, tell King Sean I found somebody already, and he's not a YouTuber. He's only my YouTube boyfriend. There you go. She found somebody. Asia, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Let me see. And let me get caught up here. Inferno, he says, what's good, Dana? The draft has me a little nervous for my Eagles because you know what Howie will do. I swear if we pick a quarterback, I'm going. I don't think you guys are going to take a quarterback. I really don't, Inferno. I'm going to tell you why. I really don't think you're going to take a quarterback. If you were going to take a quarterback, I think you would have stayed where you were. You decided to trade down. The fact that you traded down, I really don't think you're going to take a quarterback. Now, if Trey Lance falls, is it possible? Yeah, but I don't think you're going to take a quarterback. You don't mess around with that. If you want to take a quarterback, you either trade up or you stay where you were at 6. I don't think it makes a lot of sense right now for the Eagles to take a quarterback. I thought it made a lot of sense for you to take a quarterback when you were at 6. I am not a big fan of Jalen Hurts, as you know, but I don't think you're going to take a quarterback at 12. If you were going to take a quarterback, you would stay where you were. I'd be surprised if you draft one at number 12 overall. DJ Smooth, thank you very much. What do you think if Fields is there at 11? What do I think if Fields is there at 11? We don't take him. We're not drafting a quarterback. I don't know how many times I got to say it. We're not drafting a quarterback. What I'll say, if Justin Fields is there at 11, maybe we trade down for a team that wants a quarterback. We're not taking a quarterback. There is negative 1,000% chance the Giants take a quarterback in this draft. We're not taking a quarterback. 0%. Not happening. Maybe we trade back. Beat Inch, man, thank you very much. Last year, we didn't see Thomas mock to us, and we took him. We were mostly seeing receiver or line mock to us, so I feel like we're going to go Aziz. Well, but the one thing I'll say about that, Beat Inch, we did see tackles mock to us. We just didn't see Thomas. We saw Wirfs. We saw Wills. We even saw Becton. We saw a little bit of Thomas, but it was mainly Wirfs and Wills. We did see tackles mock to us, mostly. A little bit of Simmons. So they got the position right. They just didn't get the player right. I think it's going to be a wide receiver or an offensive lineman. Or Parsons with an outside chance. Thank you very much, buddy. Octave, man, thank you very much. What about Elijah Vera Tucker in the first, followed by Creed in the second? Ooh, you're going offensive line heavy in the first 2 rounds. You know I love the Hogs. I'd build a pig pen if I could. I would love it, but it's not going to happen. I don't see the New York Giants doing that. I think the Giants are going to address something else. If they go offensive line in the first, I think they go somewhere else, round 2. But I wouldn't be upset with it. You get Elijah Vera Tucker, you get your center of the future. The Giants have come out and said that, and again, maybe it's smoke, but they've come out and said that they're very happy with their offensive line. They think it's going to grow. They brought in new offensive line coaches. We'll see. But if Daniel, I'm going to continue to say it. If Daniel Jones is the priority, I mean, football 101, you got to be able to protect your king. You got to be able to protect the quarterback. So if Daniel Jones is the priority, I can't see any Giants fan. I could see them wanting something else. I could see them wanting an edge. I could see them wanting a wide receiver. I could see it. But I can't see any Giants fan, if that were to happen, I'm not saying they got to be happy, but I can't see any Giants fan being like, that doesn't make sense. Because it does. Last year, we surrendered the second most sacks in football. So, and the offensive line has been a problem for a decade. If they elected to do it, would I cry? No. Do I think it's going to happen? No. I think they'll go with an offensive lineman in one of their first 2 picks. Not both. Thank you very much, my man. I appreciate it. And MY Giants 26, he says, no great quarterbacks in next year's draft. DJ, step up. None that we're going to get because the Giants aren't going to be picking top 10 anyway. We don't know, who's going to be great quarterbacks because things change. A lot of people didn't think Kyler Murray was going to even enter the NFL when he started his last year. Baker Mayfield, nobody knew who he really was. Joe Burrow, nobody knew who he really was before his last year, before he entered the draft. So things change. Right now, yeah, you could look at it and be like, well, there's not going to be any great quarterbacks. You don't know that. But what I'm going to say is I don't think we'll be picking high enough to get a top-end quarterback. Vin, man, thank you very much. What's up, Chris? You think we narrowed down the pick? It's tough to say, man. It's a lot of games. I'm going to say no, to be honest with you. I'm still as confused as I ever was, but I'm just sticking to what I believe. And I could be wrong. I think it's offense. Because I think this offseason is about Daniel Jones. And I think it's about giving Daniel Jones everything he needs to succeed. Because if we don't find out what Daniel Jones is at the end of the year, well, then we're going to be going into next year having to draft a quarterback. And then you got to start it all over again. And what I always say, Dave Gettleman drafted Daniel Jones. Dave Gettleman's job and reputation rests on the right shoulder of Daniel Jones. Why would Dave Gettleman not do everything in his power to make sure that Jones could do the job? This offseason, they got a corner. They got situational edge rushers. And there's offensive talent that could still continue to help Daniel Jones in the first round, whether it's offensive line or whether it's wide receiver. So my mind is still offense. I still think they're going offense. I think it'll be a lineman or I think it'll be a wide receiver. That's where my head's at. But I could be wrong. It could be Parsons. It could be an edge. They could trade down. We'll see. But I think he's going to try to help out Daniel Jones. DJ Smith, thank you very much. Question, Daniel Jones fails. What happens? And people have told me next draft of quarterbacks ain't good. Agreed. Again, it's too early for me to tell you whether or not the quarterbacks are good or not. Quarterbacks pop up every draft. There's not a Trevor Lawrence in next year's draft, but quarterbacks pop up every draft. So it's way too early for me to tell you that. I don't even want to think about it because I want to believe in Daniel Jones. I want to think he can get the job done. And I think with the pieces we brought in and hopefully another piece or two that we bring in via the draft, he will get it done. But if we get a doomsday scenario, that's something that we're going to have to, cross when we get there. But I think it's a high pressured year for Daniel Jones. If he fails, here's what I'm going to say. And I say this all the time, if the Giants finish around 500, which you can't do now with the 17-game schedule, but if they go 8-9 or 9-8, and they're picking in the middle of the draft, which is kind of not where you want to be if you want to select a quarterback. If they're picking 16, one of three things are going to happen. If Dan Jones completely sucks this year, and they go 8-9 or 9-8, and they say to themselves, this is not going to be our guy going forward, one of three things is going to happen. One, they're going to trade a ton of future draft capital. They're going to move up, and they're going to try to get a quarterback. Two, they're going to stick it out with Daniel Jones for one more year and hope that he could take that big step forward in year 4. 3, they're going to go out there. They're going to try to trade for a quarterback. Those are the only 3 options. But I don't want to think about it. I think Daniel Jones is going to have a good year. I think Daniel Jones is going to progress. He may not have as good of a year as you want, but I think he's going to progress. I think by year's end, you're going to say to yourself, all right, he's a legitimate quarterback. He's a good quarterback. We could win games with this quarterback. That's what I think you will say by year's end when the Giants finally give him the pieces that he needs. That's what I honestly believe, and we're going to find out. But thank you very much, DJ Swoopman. I appreciate it. And let's see. B-Utz or Butts. Maybe that's what that name means. He says, so Chris, I'm super excited about the 2021 season and the draft. So I have 2 questions. What do we do in the second round, running back, linebacker? And what about the secondary? Would you rank the Giants top 5? I'd have to look at all the secondaries around the league to give you a fair answer on that, but I can't imagine more than 5 or 6 secondaries being better. And I'll get to the first question after. You look at our secondary, you got Logan Ryan, you got Xavier McKinney, who I think we all think is going to get better. Darnay Holmes should only get better. Obviously, James Bradbury, obviously, Adoree Jackson, Jabril Peppers. We are loaded. I have to think if we're not top 5, we're borderline top 5. We're right there. We have a very good secondary. I think that's the obvious strength of this defense, and that's how we're going to generate pressure through coverage. So, yeah, I think it's top 5, and if it's not, it's damn near close. As far as the first question goes, I do not want to draft the running back in the second round. I do not want to draft the running back in the third round. I am completely fine with drafting a running back in the 4th round. I do think it's a need. I do think we need depth in that running back core. You don't know how well Barkley's going to respond from the injury. I think we could use depth in that backfield, but second round to me is way too early. I think there's way more important needs on this team. Barkley's our best player. Obviously, you expect him to take a big step forward this year coming off the injury. We signed Devontae Booker, who should only help. I think that's way too early to draft a running back. Linebacker, if you're talking edge, I think could make sense in the second round, depending on what we do in the first and depending on who's there. But yeah, I think edge is going to either be interior offensive lineman, wide receiver, or edge, depending on what we do in the first. I think the first 2 rounds will be two in the first 2 rounds, interior offensive lineman, edge, and wide receiver. 2 of those positions will be in the first 2 rounds. That's what I think. Depending on what we do in the first, one of the other 2 positions will be the second round pick. That's my prediction going into the draft. But thank you very much, my man. I appreciate it. Now, if they're enamored with a prospect at corner, maybe they take one in the second. But that's what I think going into the draft. But thank you very much, my man. I appreciate it. Let's see. John, man, he says, Devontae Smith, Kenny Golladay, Saquon Barkley, Slayton defenses will get lit up. If we could block, I will agree with you. And Kyle Rudolph. Don't forget Kyle Rudolph. Don't forget John Ross. We got weapons. If we get Devontae Smith, we got more weapons than we know what to do with. Still got to be able to block. You saw the Chiefs this year in the Super Bowl. They got weapons. Couldn't block. You saw the Giants when they had Saquon Barkley and Odell Beckham. Couldn't block. So, yeah, we could have great weapons, but you got to be able to block. I think the offensive line is still the most important thing going into next year. Even if we don't draft one, they have to grow, they have to progress, they have to get better. And having more weapons should help them. Having Barkley back should help them, but they got to do their job up front. DJ Swoop, thank you very much. But do you blame people who wanted a great quarterback in this draft or next? Do you hate people bring up, do I hate it? No. I'm just going to, I'm just going to give my opinion. But listen, I always say it, man. I'm always going to give you guys my opinion. I'm never going to sugarcoat it. But I'm always going to try to respect everybody's opinion. I don't hate anybody's opinion. And I understand where people are coming from that worry about the quarterback spot, being that Jones only threw 11 touchdowns last year. I understand it. I'm not blind. I just don't think it's realistic. I don't see the Giants doing it. I just don't. Matter of fact, I'm like 90% sure, probably 95% sure that Jones is going to be the quarterback of 2022. I'd be surprised if he's not the quarterback of 2022. I know he's going to be the quarterback of 2021. Asia, thank you very much. Just how about DeGrom? Asia, I said it on Twitter. What's going on there, Raphael? Man, thanks for popping the stream. I said it on Twitter. What's going on there? Cushman in the chat, my man. What's going on? I said it on Twitter the other day, Asia, and maybe people don't agree with me. I think Jacob DeGrom is the most, and I said it before his 15K outing, where he went 9 innings of shutout ball. I think he gave up 2 hits. I think Jacob DeGrom is the most dominating athlete in professional sports. That's all 4 sports. That's football, that's baseball, that's basketball, that's hockey. I think Jacob DeGrom is the most dominant athlete in all 4 major sports. That's what I think about Jacob DeGrom. Shane, man, thank you very much. How do you feel about Eric Fisher and Big Blue? Yeah, I saw the tweet today. I mean, if he comes for a really cheap price, I'm completely fine with it. He is coming off an injury, but we could absolutely use more depth on the offensive line at the tackle spot. We don't know what Nate Solder is. We basically just brought him back because of the money. We ended up saving more by bringing him back than cutting him. And hopefully Solder's really good. But yeah, I'd be okay with Fisher. There's nothing not to like there. Could easily start over Matt Parrott, former number 1 overall pick, I think it was, with the Kansas City Chiefs. He's obviously not the player he once was. But yeah, I'd be completely fine with that. I just don't know where we're getting the money from. It would have to be a really cheap contract. Butts, man, thank you very much. Bring back Eli and Amani. I loved Eli. I loved Eli and I loved Amani. Amani's my favorite wide receiver in Giants history. I think he's the greatest Giant wide receiver in Giants history. He obviously didn't have the highest points of Odell Beckham and the highest points of Victor Cruz, but in terms of his totality of work, his career as a Giant, I think he's the greatest wide receiver in Giants history. He owns every record. The guy was a class act, a leader. Absolutely loved Amani Toomer. And Eli Manning, if you watch my channel, is my favorite athlete of all time. So those are 2 of my top. Eli's my favorite. Amani's definitely my top 6 or 7. I love both those guys. DJ Spoon, man, thank you very much. DJ got a bowl, Chris. He has no choice. He's got to be better. He's got to be better. I don't know what your definition of bowl is, but he's got to be better, and he's got to win us some games. Clocks, man, thank you very much. You have one bet. What team is the biggest percentage to move up from today on in the draft? Would you say the Pats? I fucking hate you. All right, Clocks. That's a good question. I think the Pats are clearly a team that could. I think the Bears definitely could. We heard rumors, when the offseason first started getting going, that the Bears were looking to go all out to get a quarterback. So I think the Bears could absolutely be a candidate. I think the Pats. The one team that I want to continue to say, I'm going to pick the Broncos. I'm going to pick the Broncos. A first-round trade that I think I'm going to have mocked. I'm probably going to have my final first-round mock draft up the day before the draft is the Broncos moving up to Atlanta. I think I'm going to pick the Broncos. I think the Broncos are going to trade up to get a quarterback. But we'll see. But any one of those teams, the Patriots are definitely very capable. Jose, man, thank you very much. Thanks, bud. Got to go at work. I would pay a couple of $100 to watch the debate. Watch you debate Max. Oh, God, I would love to debate Max Kelman. That would be a dream come true, man. I used to like that guy. He's gone to straight to potato. Cheers to not drafting Hornet alive. Jose, what that guy said, I cannot believe that guy's on ESPN. For him to come out and say that he thinks the New York Giants should trade up to get Trey Lance. What are you smoking? What are you smoking? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the hypothetical. Let's trade up for Trey Lance. 1, and I like Trey Lance. I think Trey Lance can be very good. 1, he's a complete question mark. He's a hit-or-miss prospect. He's no more of a sure thing, in my opinion, than Daniel Jones is right now. Trey Lance didn't play last year. He went to a nothing school. He's got upside. 2, yeah, let's trade up. Let's trade up. Let's give up the 11th pick. Let's give up next year's first-round pick. Let's give up a future second. Let's trade up. Let's get Trey Lance so we can bring him into the same situation that Eli Manning had for 8 freaking years where we couldn't block. Let's just do that. Let's give away all our draft capital. Let's do all that to move up and get Trey Lance, who's a complete question mark. Makes 0 sense whatsoever. Thank you, Jose, man. I appreciate it, buddy. You got to see what Daniel Jones has got. George, man, thank you very much. I agree. DeGrom is in the MLB making pros look like they are in college. He's ridiculous, George. He's ridiculous. He's ridiculous. He's absolutely ridiculous, George. To me, he's the most dominant athlete in professional sports today. And I think he needs to get more credit. The only reason why I think DeGrom doesn't get more credit than he deserves, George, I'm talking about nationally. In New York, he gets his credit. And baseball, he gets his credit. But baseball is just not as popular as it once was. Basketball is more popular. Football is more popular. DeGrom, to me, is as dominating as any athlete. He's as dominating as LeBron James. He's as dominating as any athlete. Hey, man, thank you very much. Favorite Giants coach of all time? Well, I didn't get to appreciate Parcells. I saw Parcells with the Jets. I saw Parcells with the Patriots before the Jets. I didn't get to appreciate Parcells with the Giants. Obviously, I'd say Parcells, but I didn't really get to appreciate that. I have to go Coughlin. I liked Fossil, too, by the way. Abe, I actually liked Fossil. I thought Fossil was a good coach. I loved the guarantee in 2000. That jacked me up. Thought he was a good coach, but got to go Coughlin. I respect the hell out of Tom Coughlin. That guy is tough. That is exactly what you want your football coach to be. And the thing that I loved about Tom Coughlin was he was willing to change his ways to get things done. You know, he came in, he was a hard ass. He realized, all right, I got to take my foot off the pedal a little bit. Now, what I will say, in the end, I thought Coughlin got a little too lackadaisical, a little too soft. In the end, I still love Tom Coughlin. Coughlin was great, but in the end, you know, I go back to the Carolina game with Odell Beckham. Does Tom Coughlin in 2006 allow Odell Beckham to do what he was doing in 2015 in that Carolina game? That is one of the most embarrassing moments in my life as a New York Giants fan, watching that game. Watching what Odell Beckham did on that football field. So I think that he got a little too soft at the end, but I love Tom Coughlin. Tom's World, man. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Can we please nail the first pick for once? We need, well, hey, I think we nailed Andrew Thomas. Maybe you don't agree with it. I think Andrew Thomas is going to be fine. We still don't know about Daniel Jones, but we're going to get this pick right. We're going to get this pick right, Tom's World. And Josh Latoy, man, thank you very much. Can't wait for the draft. Get so tired of all the rumors. Love and hate mock drafts. Just can't wait. Dude, at this point, Josh, I'm mock draft out. You know, I've watched, Jameson, have a good one, man. I've watched so many mock drafts over the last 2 months, you know, and I've done it. I was going to do another one. I was like, you know what? I'm mocked out. You know, I was going to do another 6-round mock draft for the Gettleman. I'm like, I'm mocked out. I'm done with the mocks. I just want to see what we get, and then I want to assess the team after that and talk about the team and talk about how these players are going to help the team. There's only so many scenarios you could go over. We know all the situations in terms of the first round, second round, third round, the needs of the Giants, the players that we like. Let's lace them up. Let's see what we do on draft night. And thank you very much, Josh. I appreciate it. DJ Smooth, man, thank you very much. 30-40 or I'm moving on, period. He got to be Josh Allen or Baker Mayfield. I think Mayfield is more realistic, DJ Smooth. I think Josh Allen, you're asking for too much. I think Mayfield is realistic. I think he could do what Mayfield did last year. I'm not going to set Josh Allen expectations because to me, Josh Allen was the top 4 quarterback last year. I'm just not going to set those expectations. I think that's too much. Octave, man, thank you very much. Parsons isn't great in coverage for an inside linebacker, and he would be better suited to get Phillips off the edge if we go there. Yeah, Parsons, the one thing I'll say about that, I think Parsons is capable of being good in coverage. It's not like he's a super athletic player. Wasn't asked to do a lot in coverage well at Penn State because they probably felt like it wasn't a strong suit. It's definitely not his strongest element to his game, so I'll agree there. But I think he's capable. I think he's athletic enough to guard players and grow as a player in the NFL. But yeah, I would say that isn't his strength. I don't want either. I don't want Phillips. The injury concerns scare me too much. I know everybody loves Phillips. I know people are starting to say Phillips at 11. I don't want Phillips. I don't want Phillips at 11. If we trade down, I'm okay with it. I don't want him at 11. And I agree that he's probably the best edge rusher in this draft class. I'm too scared of the injury stuff to take him that high in the draft. It's just my thoughts on it. But I think if they take him, I'll understand it. But it's not who I want. Adam, man, thank you very much. DeGrom is better than Trout. It's tough to compare. Trout plays every day. DeGrom pitches once every 5 days. But if you're talking pure dominance, yeah. How could you be more dominant than DeGrom? DeGrom has what does he have? A .34 ERA through 4 starts so far. The guy, 3 years ago might have had the greatest year ever. One of. You know, if you just look at the wins and losses, no. But for the year in an era, you know, we're not talking about when Bob Gibson threw to like a 1.3 ERA when nobody was hitting at all and nobody was scoring runs. We're talking about modern day baseball. Jacob deGrom threw to a 1.7 ERA. What? Like, that's unheard of. So, yeah, I think you can make that argument. Trout's obviously going to go down as the better player. But yeah, I think DeGrom is damn dominant, man. But thank you very much, man. I appreciate it, buddy. And let's see here. Butts, man, thank you very much. I'm calling it. 1, New York. 2, no name. 3, Cowgirls. 4, the North Pigeons. Unless we come out and have no idea what we're doing, we're in a pretty good spot. Yeah, I that's actually my exact order. People have asked me that on other podcasts. I think people have asked me that on here before too. That's my exact order. I have the Giants 1, I have Washington 2, I have Dallas 3, I have the Eagles 4. Eagles to me are the clear 4. I think they're going to take a step back this year. We'll see. Maybe they'll surprise. But I think Eagles are the clear 4. The reason I like Washington and the Giants more simply is their defense. I don't believe in the Washington defense, the Dallas defense rather. I don't think it's going to be that good again this year. It'll be better. Can't be much worse, but I don't think they have that good of a defense. Who knows what you got with Dak coming back? The offensive line is not going to get better. It's slowly getting worse. Zeke is not going to get better. He's slowly getting worse. So I think the Giants and Washington are coming up. I think Dallas they're going to be better because Dak will be back, but that's my order as well. I think Washington and the Giants defense is just so much better than Dallas's, and I think the Washington Giants offense will improve this year. So I'm with you on that. I like Giants, I like Washington, I like Dallas, I like the Eagles. I'm with you on that, Butts. Thank you very much, my man. And DJ Smooth, he says, he got to be a winner and great to me. Hey, just win football games. That's all I care about at the end of the day. At the end of the day, that's all I care about, man. Let me see. Just win games, man. What's up, Chris? 3 more. Yeah, three more. 3 more days, and we're going to find out who we finally have. First day is going to be on Bad Dogs, by the way. Day 2 and day 3 are going to be over here. But 3 days till we know what we have. We're going to know the roster. We'll be able to talk about the future. We'll be able to get the schedule. Schedule's coming out, and I think May 12th. Somebody told me, I think, last stream. So we'll get the schedule then. We'll get to analyze who we're playing, when we're playing. It's going to be a very fun offseason. Around late May, it'll start to die down a bit after we go over the whole roster, all the undrafted free agents, and then it's going to pick up right back where it left off mid to late July. And then we got preseason and everything else, and football season's here before you know it. And, one thing I'm definitely doing this year, and I want to do it last year, couldn't end up doing it because of the pandemic, and hopefully they open it up to the public. One thing I definitely want to do this year is stream from training camp. That's something I want to do. Or if not stream, do a vlog. But I want to go to training camp. I think it'd be great content for the channel, and I just want to go to training camp. I've been to training camp a couple of times, but I haven't been, I think, in 3 years. I think the first year I started on YouTube, I was at training camp. I only had like 200, 300 subscribers at the time, so I didn't make any content. But I went to training camp then. I actually saw Ron Effect while I was there. Adam, thank you very much. Giants or Washington defense? That is really, really close. That is really, really close. Give me till after the draft, and I'll give you my answer, because I got to see what the Giants do in the draft and if they draft a defensive player in the first round. Because if the Giants draft Parsons, or if I may lean Giants, it's damn close. I'd probably slightly favor Washington just because of their defensive line is so dominant. But it's really close. I think they're both fully capable of being top 5 defenses this year. I think they're both really good. I might slightly go Washington, but it's really close. DJ, man, thank you very much. What I mean is that MVP convo. You mean Daniel Jones? You want him in the MVP convo? Is that what you're saying? Let me see your last super chat to make sure that I'm not messing this up. I'm assuming that's what you mean. You want Daniel Jones? I don't care. You know how many DJ Smooth? You know how many MVPs Eli Manning won? You know how many he won? 0. I don't care about MVPs. I don't care about individual accolades. I don't care. I care about a guy that wins me big games. I care about a guy that comes up in the big moments. I don't care if Daniel Jones wins MVPs. I don't care if he's not in the conversation. Just win games. Make big plays when they need to be made. Win games. Don't care. Don't care if he wins MVPs. Doesn't need to be in the conversation. Win games. Play good. Michael, man, thank you very much. If DJ doesn't perform well like we'd like, would other quarterbacks find the Giants an attractive team to come to with the offensive weapons we have? Well, Michael, first things first. If he's not good, you're talking about, we're not going to be able to sign a quarterback. I don't know the free agents next year. I haven't looked at them because I don't think it's going to happen. I don't know the free agent quarterbacks next year. We're not signing a quarterback because we don't have money. We don't have money. If we're going to add a quarterback, I think it'll be via trade if we're going to go that route. And the one guy I've talked about is Aaron Rodgers, because I think the Packers are going to look to get rid of him because they have Jordan Love. He's going to be entering the 3rd year of his rookie contract. People may say that's crazy, but look at what they did with Brett Favre. after 2 years when they drafted Aaron Rodgers, or maybe it was after 3 years. So that's a guy I've talked about, but I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. I think Dan Jones is going to be your quarterback next year, and I think he's going to perform well. But I don't think we'd sign a quarterback. If anything, we would trade for one or trade up in the draft to grab one. Hey, man, thank you very much. Would you consider Surtain at all if he's there? No, I wouldn't. If they do it, will I cry? No, but I would not take him. I just wouldn't. I would not take him. And like I always say, like I've said all along, I completely understand the coverage argument. I've said it. Coverage is, I would much rather, if we were starting from scratch with this defense, most Giant fans would tell you, give me the edge. I would tell you, give me the corner. I think this defense, you need coverage. You need strong coverage because that is what's going to create pressure in this defense where you scheme pressure. You need to be able to cover one-on-one. But we did that. We signed Bradbury. We signed Adoree Jackson. We've drafted several players in the secondary. I do not want to draft a corner in the first round of this year's draft. I just don't. I would have been, if we didn't sign Jackson, I would have been begging to draft a corner in the first round of this year's draft. I thought it was our biggest need going into the offseason. That or a wide receiver. And what happened? I don't know what happened to Ron Effect. That's a good question. I don't know what happened to Ron Effect. He stopped making content. I don't know what happened to him. It's not like I talked to him. I don't know what happened to him. He stopped making content. I met him briefly. I don't even think we talked, but I saw him there when I was there like 3 years ago. Octave, man, thank you very much. Thoughts on if the Giants will extend Peppers? I think they should, and it's an impossible question to answer right now because I don't know how he's going to play. I don't know if he's going to stay healthy, so on and so forth. I think they should. If he stays healthy, I think he's a perfect fit for this team. He's a captain. He's a leader. He fits the scheme very well. He could play all over. I think he played great last year over the last 8 games, but I think it comes down to this year whether or not he can stay healthy, how he performs, so on and so forth. But I would love to keep him. I think it comes down to the dollars and cents and if he could stay healthy. But I'm leaning yes, but I don't think it's a lock. Most people are going to say I don't think it's a lock. I'm leaning yes, though. DJ, thank you very much. Imagine Aaron Rodgers next season in MetLife. That'd be great. I mean, if Jones isn't the answer, I'm trying to imagine Daniel Jones being the guy. But I love Aaron Rodgers. George, man, thank you very much. We're the 11th overall. With the 11th overall draft pick, the New York Giants select the entertainer. All position go out of YouTube. I appreciate it, George, man. Thank you very much. See, I would probably want to be the punter or the kicker. Maybe the backup quarterback, like the third string quarterback. Like I hold the clipboard and I get to yell at players when they're doing bad things. But I don't think I'd want to actually go up against some of these 300-pound monsters. I'd probably die. What's up there, Ali Khan, man? Thanks for popping in the stream. What's going on there? Tyler Best. He says, I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. Najee Harris at 24. Steeler Nation coming in, saying he wants a running back. You guys, of course, lost James Conner. What I'm going to say to you, my man, you got to fix that line. You got to get some hogs over there. You lost 3 linemen. You got to fix the line. I think you're going lineman. You could go Najee Harris, but I think you got to fix the line, my man. I really do. Amir stuff. I see Amir every now and again, Jeremy. What's going on, my man? What's going on there, Brandon Lavin? Yeah, Roger with that office would be the same. What time you got guys going live Thursday? I saw somebody ask it. What time we're going live Thursday? Probably a half hour before the draft. Maybe 40 minutes before the draft. I think the draft's at like 8. We'll probably go at like 7:30, 7:20. I will be live draft day. I always do that every year. I'll be live like midday, like 12 to 3, something like that. And then we'll be on Bad Dogs at like 7:30, 7:20. I don't know. Yeah, like maybe a half hour before the draft. So yeah, I'll be live around then. My favorite song. I have so many, man. I think it depends on the time of year for me. It depends on my mood. I have so many. I mean, I love the Beatles. I love classic. Oh, I love classic rock. That's my favorite genre. I don't know if I give you a specific song, but I like so many songs. DJ Smooth says, would you pick Aaron off another year of the MVP year or DJ winning us the game? I mean, I want Daniel Jones. I'm going to tell you why. Daniel Jones is 20, whatever he is, 24. Aaron Rodgers is like 38. Aaron Rodgers is a short-term fix. He's a Band-Aid. He's not sustained success. The only reason it would make any sense to bring in Aaron Rodgers if you felt like you had the team equipped to win a Super Bowl at that point in time and you didn't think Jones was the guy to get you there. But in an ideal situation, You want the long-term stability. You want that guy that you believe could continue to grow and be that franchise quarterback for 10 to 15 years. The answer 10 times out of 10 is Daniel Jones. You want him to grow. You want him to be that guy. You take Jones over the 2-year stopgap. Joe Montana with the Chiefs gave you a couple of years. Peyton Manning with the Broncos gave you a couple of years. Defense ended up winning that Super Bowl, not so much Peyton. But you always go with the young quarterback. You hope he progresses. NY Giants 26, man. Chris, I can't remember. Was it you that said they watched draft day as a tradition? I can't remember. Was it you who said they watched draft day? Oh, no, not me. That movie, NY Giants 26, by the way. And by the way, it's an entertaining movie. And I get it. It's a movie, right? With, what's his name? Kevin Costner. It's entertaining. That is the most unrealistic movie in the history of sports. Like, in terms of a sports movie. That movie, I don't want to give anything away in case somebody hasn't watched it. But that is the most unrealistic movie ever. It's entertaining, though. George, man, thank you very much. I've torn my ACL 4 times, but I could have been Eli's backup quarterback. Hashtag 4 times. Holy crap. 4 times. And Eli never got hurt, man. Never got hurt. He played through injuries, though. We knew that he had plantar fasciitis. He played through that. Clocks, man, thank you very much. Hypothetical, if I told you we could have banged up Cam with the peanuts he's making and put him with Saquon and others, you honestly take yes. 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 What is Cam Newton at this point in time? What is Cam Newton? Did you watch Cam Newton with the Patriots last year? What is Cam Newton? Cam Newton at best is a guy that, strikes lightning one more time and gives you 2 years, and then he fades away. What is Cam Newton? I take my shot with DJ and hope he grows into a great quarterback. This year, yeah, 100%. 100%. And Octave, man, thank you very much. Daniel Jones needs to be at least a top 15 quarterback, if not top 10 this year. I think top 15 is fair. I think league average is fair. I'm with you on that, Octave. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Chris, man, thank you very much. Think we go O-line, coaches, GM saying other positions. I don't. I think it's still possible, and I think it's more possible than people are leading on. But I don't. I don't think we go O-line in the first round. I think we're going wide receiver. That's where my head's at. I think we're going Devontae Smith. But that's just my opinion. A lot of people think we're going Parsons. A lot of people think we're going edge. Some people may think we're going corner. Some people may think we're going O-line. I think we're going wide receiver. And I'm going to go with Devontae Smith. I'm not changing my opinion. I'm not going to let any more of these rumors change my opinion. I think it's going to be Devontae Smith. RK, man, thank you very much. Let's see you're going to get the hat hair right now, so it looks crazy, but there is the fresh cut. There you go. But you got the hat hair right now. Appreciate it, RK, man. Thank you very much, buddy. I appreciate it. No gel in the hair. And DJ Smooth, he says, I'll take Watson or Wilson next year if Jones ain't it. Well, Watson, we don't know what the hell is going to happen with him. He's got the sex allegations. We don't know what the hell is going to happen there. Wilson, I think it's smoke. I don't think Seattle's trading Wilson. I just don't. Why would Seattle trade Wilson? I don't see it. I don't think that's going to happen. I'd be shocked. I don't see it happening. I don't think Russell Wilson will ever be traded. Maybe at the tail end of his career, but not right now. And Watson, we don't know what the hell is going to happen with everything that's going on over there. Classic DJ Pizzle's in the chat. I want to say a little bit. What's going on, Pizzle? he said classic. What's up, Pizzle? Good to see you here, man. I just saw Pizzle. I popped him up. I didn't even know what he said. Where do you think Ertz? Yeah, Knicks need 10 tonight. Hold on. Knicks fans in the chat. We need 10. Can I get an amen? I always try to rhyme. That's my rhyme today. We need 10. Can I get an amen? Let's get 10 tonight, man. But I'm glad to see Pizzle in here, man. Pizzle's going to be live tonight, by the way. I think I saw that on Twitter. So check that out. Pizzle's going to be live, I think, with Bobby from Talking Giants. I think he's coming on. So be sure to check that out. There we go. There's the amens, man. Thanks for popping in the stream, man. What's going on there? Andrew, man, thanks for popping in. What's going on there? Kerwin. Adam says, funny how Peter King was the one who broke the rumor about the draft, then drops a mock today how we're taking Parsons. Adam, to me, who knows? Who the hell knows? I'm with Pizzle because I know who Pizzle thinks we're taking. I've talked to him on the phone. I'm with Pizzle. And I've thought it for a while. I briefly changed after free agency, after what we got. Pizzle thinks we're taking Devontae Smith. I think we're taking Devontae Smith. I think that's who we're going to take. DJ Spoon, man, thank you very much. I think DJ will be good, but I need him to be great. I just need him to win Super Bowls. I don't care. You know, in today's day and age, it's all about fantasy football. It's all about stats. It's all about individual accomplishments. I don't care about any of that. Look at Phil Simms. Was Phil Simms great statistically? No. Eli Manning, he had the one great statistical year. He had a couple of other very good statistical years. But overall, was he Aaron Rodgers statistically? Was he Tom Brady? Was he Peyton Manning? Was he, no. But he won. They won games. I don't care about individual accomplishments. I care about team accomplishments. Obviously, if he becomes Pat Mahomes, it helps. But I just want to win games, man. Dominic, man, thank you very much. Why is corner even a rumor? We just paid Jackson to have Holmes. What would you do if we draft? Okay. I'm not gonna flip out if we draft the corner. I'm not gonna flip out. I'm not gonna flip out if we do anything. I'm gonna trust the coaching staff. I'm gonna trust Gettleman that they did the right thing. But what I'm gonna say is I do not like the pick. I like J.C. Horn as a prospect. I like Pat Surtain as a prospect. I do not like the pick. We signed Adoree Jackson for $13 million. And you could say, well, you could play J.C. Horn at slot. Adoree Jackson's got injury concerns, and I get all that. And if you feel like he's Darrelle Revis, okay, have at it. But my thought process with that is, if you love J.C. Horn or if you love Patrick Surtain, why did you spend $13 million on Adoree Jackson? Why? Why didn't you spend that $13 million fixing the offensive line after you lost Kevin Zeitler? Why didn't you spend that $13 million to get an edge rusher when we don't have one? So that's my thought process there. You allocated all that money in free agency to that position, and now you're going to draft another corner? That's why that would not be my pick. Would not be my pick. RK, man, thank you very much. If you're the 49ers, are you taking Jones or Lance? If I'm the 49ers, I'm not taking Mac Jones. I would either take Fields or Lance. I'm a fan of Lance. I think Lance's upside is through the roof. And like I said earlier in the stream, I would swing for the fences if I was going with a quarterback prospect. I think most people would tell you Justin Fields, but I actually like Trey Lance a lot. I would not take Mac Jones. But who am I to say? Shanahan's a brilliant offensive mind. If he feels Mac Jones fits his scheme the best, who am I to say? But me, from the outside looking in, who do I think is the better quarterback prospect? I think Lance has the highest ceiling, personally, of anybody outside of the top two, the consensus top two, Lawrence and Wilson. I think Lance has the highest ceiling. Fields is probably the safest of the three. But I actually like Lance the most after the top two. DJ, man, thank you very much. Answer this. He has to ball elite with the weapons he has. What do you mean he's supposed to be MVP combo with the weapons? Again, listen. Guys in the chat, let me ask everybody in the chat right now. What number would you rather have? 40 touchdowns from Daniel Jones or 12 wins? Daniel Jones had better stats the year before. We won less games. I don't care about stats. Win games. And if by putting up less stats, it helps us win games, meaning you're running the ball more. Maybe, you're playing safer in certain spots. Give me the freaking wins. I don't care about the stats. I don't care about MVP trophies. Let me ask you this. DJ Smooth. In 50 years, when there's people sitting on their chairs, when they're sitting on their porches, when they're talking on the phone, and they're saying to themselves, you remember that year? Yeah, Bill. You remember that year back in 2011? Are they going to be talking about Aaron Rodgers' MVP trophy, or are they going to be talking about Eli Manning's throw to Manningham? You tell me. Christian, man, thank you very much. Did you see the supposed deleted tweet by the LA Chargers saying they're trading 13 and 20? Yeah, it's nonsense. It was completely fabricated. It's complete nonsense. Not going to happen. Complete nonsense. Somebody actually came out and admitted that they photoshopped it. So they duped them. It was nonsense. But as far as the trade goes, if it was realistic, I'd be open to it. Depending on who was there at 11. I'd probably want a future third or fourth on top of it, though. Chris, why are you the GOAT? What's going on there, Kush Master, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, my man. What's going on there, Baruch, man? Thanks for popping in. Ethan in the chat. What's going on? I want Waddle at 11. Our offense will be so much better, and you could be more creative. You could see. I like Waddle a lot. New York for Life says, you look like Will Smith. I get that all the time. I say it all the time. I get Will Smith. I get the baby. I've gotten the baby a lot recently. And Jackie Chan. Those are the three I get the most. Jackie Chan more so than most, though. Andrew Thomas. What's up, Baruch? Don't ever apologize, man. Thanks for being here, buddy. Brett says, if Daniel Jones has a similar third season like Josh Allen, and I mean MVP type. By the way, Pizzle, let me ask you a question, Pizzle. Well, I'll text you after, I guess. I'm doing the Knick game tonight, but I don't know how late you guys are going to be. I'll come on. I know we talked about me maybe coming on your channel, whatever it may be. If I'm free tonight, I'll come on. I don't know what time you're doing it. Brett says, if Daniel Jones has a similar third season like Josh Allen, and I mean MVP type season, and that's a big if, the Giants could make it to the NFC Championship game. And yes, I know I sound like a Cowboys fan. If Daniel Jones has a similar third season like Josh Allen, and I mean MVP type season, I agree with you. If Daniel Jones took the leap that Josh Allen did last year, yeah, of course. And DeGondre says Jones needs stats to become the superstar X factor. I agree with that. To be a superstar. But I don't need to win games. I don't need 40 touchdowns. It would help, but I don't need it. You can win games in other ways. He needs to come up big in the big moments. Period. End of story. And he's got to put up better stats than he did last year. But do I need Josh Allen numbers? No, that's crazy if you expect that going into next year. That's insane. If he does that, that's incredible. But I'm not going to expect that. Yo, Chris, heard you need batting help. Shouldn't have let me go. You, Joannis, you suck. You suck, Cespedes. I love he has no idea what DeGondre. What do you mean? What did DeGondre mean? Let me read it again. Let me read it again. Jones needs stats to become a superstar X factor. What it's not Chinese. It's not a foreign language. What else could he mean? He needs stats to become a superstar X factor. Oh, it's a Madden thing. Oh yeah, that one right over my head. I'm not a Madden player, but Pizzle's a Madden player. I'm not a Madden player. It's a Madden reference. Okay. Let's see. Horn or Surtain? I think you could definitely argue Horn. I think the Giants, if I had to guess, would prefer Surtain. And I'm going to explain why. Last year, we drafted McKinney. McKinney plays in the same scheme as Surtain. You would only think it would make sense to bring in a guy like Surtain, that you would think that would fit your scheme, plus the ties, obviously, to Alabama with Joe Judge. But I think they're both good prospects. But if you ask me which one do I think the Giants would prefer if they were going corner, I'd probably say Surtain, but that's just a guess. DJ Spoonman, thank you very much. Of course wins, man, but he got a bull fantasy. If it helps us win games, that's all I care about, man. That's all I care about, man. But I appreciate everybody for being here. If you haven't done so, hit that thumbs up. Subscribe. Ring the bell. Going to be live tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, doing pre-draft with you guys. I'll probably be live the day before. I'll definitely be live the day of, and then we'll be live on Bad Dogs for the draft itself. So looking forward to doing all of it with you guys as the draft is getting closer and closer. I know you guys are as antsy as me. I know you guys can't wait, just like me, to see who the New York Giants ultimately end up taking. Can't wait to see who it is. Can't wait to see how the New York Giants start to build this roster. But thank you to everybody for being here, man. Cushman says, can't wait for the draft. Cannot wait, my man. Oh, no. You cannot. All right, I'm giving you a warning, my man. You can't come in my stream and say F-E-F. You can't do it. You cannot do it. This is a no-fly zone. It's a no-fly zone. Okay? I wish I could time travel, Josh says. Let's see. What's up there, Asher, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, my man. What sports did my best sport was baseball. My best sport was baseball growing up. Bigger Mike says the sexiest man alive. Just what's up there, Mike? AJ Nix has said this now 3 times during the stream. AJ Nix says, "You're looking good, Chris." Thank you, I guess. I always get upset after these streams because I get all these males that come in and say, "You're looking good, Chris." And I say to myself, if only half of them were females, I'd be set for life. It's kind of depressing, but I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. And what's going on there, Bobby Murphy, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, my man. Who do you think the Giants are going to get? Devontae Smith. Hobby Holmes Cole. Devontae Smith. Quincy Roche is a guy that I really like. Quincy Roche is a guy I really like in the 3rd round area out of Miami. I like him. I think he fits the scheme. PJ in the chat. What's going on there, PJ, man? Thanks for popping in. Who do you think the Giants? I already answered that. As an Eagles fan, I would root for y'all if y'all in the playoffs, to be honest. See, I can't. I got to be honest with you. As a Giants fan, I always hope that you guys lose by at least 1,000 points. I got to be honest with you. If you lose by less than 1,000 points on Sunday, I'm usually very upset. What's going on there, TD? Thanks for popping in. Giants going to, well, it's a 17-game schedule this year, so we're not going 10-6, but maybe 10-7. And Octave, man, thank you very much. If we pick Waddle or Smith, would I be crazy to think that either one could become the number 1 option this season? No. Realistically, it's probably going to be Golladay, but could it happen? Why not? I mean, when we brought in Beckham, he quickly became the number 1 option. Most people probably didn't feel that his rookie year that was going to happen. So, yeah, why couldn't it happen? I wouldn't go into the season expecting it. You know, I think you got to go into the season expecting Golladay is going to be the one. But, yeah, why couldn't it happen? New York Flight, man, thank you very much. You're talking Giants and expect women here. I'm joking. It's a joke. It's a joke. I don't expect women here. Do you think the NFL season is off season is too long? I feel it is. Actually, I mean, the NFL offseason kind of flies when you think about it because you have the Super Bowl goes up until February, and then you have free agency. You talk about free agency from the end of the Super Bowl up until free agency itself, which takes you to March. And then from March, you talk about the draft. And then after the draft, you have the schedule come out mid-May. And then after that, you start getting OTAs, you start getting mini camps. Then by July, you got preseason. Then you got, and then you got the season before you know it. So, I mean, the NFL offseason, in my opinion, it flies. It really does. And especially when your other teams are playing well, like the Knicks are right now, it really flies. Let's see. Chris, how happy would you be if the Cowboys trade up for Pitts? I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I think Kyle Pitts is a really good weapon. I think he's definitely a difference maker that could fit the Cowboys offense, and they already have a ton of weapons to begin with. So I'd understand people that are scared of all the weapons that Dallas would have over there if they added Kyle Pitts. But as a Giants fan, I think it'd be the dumbest thing that they could do. That's just my honest opinion. I look at their defense; it's horrific, horrific. You overcompensated for your weapons last year when you drafted CeeDee Lamb. You're now going to draft another weapon. And not only are you going to do that, you're going to trade up to get him and give away future draft capital. I think it would be an atrocious pick for the Dallas Cowboys. Hey, man, thank you very much. If we trade back, what is the furthest you would drop back? 20. I wouldn't want to drop further back than the 20th pick with the Bears. I think if you drop any further than that, now you're essentially not having a first-round pick. Like, if you drop to where the Saints are at 28, like, I think that's too far of a drop. 20, 15, 17 with the Raiders, 13 with the Chargers. I think that's what I'm looking at, but probably no later than 20 with the Bears. Benjamin says, hey, Chris, did you see the rumor the Giants are considering trading down? Yeah, it's nonsense, Benjamin. It came out as nonsense. The guy that made it said he was trolling. It's nonsense. The Chargers, I think, got trolled. That's why they deleted it. Or something like that. Or PFF got trolled. I don't know. Someone got trolled. Micah Parsons or bust. We haven't had a legit inside linebacker since Antonio Pierce, and he can rush the passer. I know Giants fans want that linebacker. They've wanted that linebacker since 1984 in the first round. I don't think you're going to get it. But we'll see. I'd be happy if we got Micah Parsons. I don't think we're going to draft him. I don't think we're going to draft him. Thoughts on us trading up to 8 for Penei Sewell? 8 or 9 is where I'd start to think about it. Yeah, Penei Sewell's a special player. If you go up and get Penei Sewell and he could be your future left tackle for the next 15 years, you have to think about it. You could shift Thomas over to the right, or you could play Sewell at the right, whatever you may decide. But if you have an opportunity to have 2 bookend tackles for the next 10 to 15 years and a player as talented as he is, many consider him a generational tackle, I think you at least have to contemplate it. There's rumors that the Panthers are potentially interested in a quote. Who knows? I don't think Sewell will be a Giant. I don't think we're going to trade up. I don't even think he gets near the 8th or 9th pick. I think he's going to go in the top 5 or 6. But if he dropped to like 9 with the Broncos, yeah, I think you have to at least consider it. Yes. Blake Martinez is very good, Ethan. I agree with that. Good Morning Football mock draft had the Giants getting JC on. I know. I think it's noise. I don't think it's happening. But I could be wrong. And if I am, I'll admit it. I think it's noise. I think the Giants are sending out smoke screens to try to get teams to jump up and draft the corner. So one of their players drops to them. I don't think we're taking JC on. I'd be very surprised. I think it's noise. But I've been wrong before. How do you feel about the new jersey numbers? I don't know. I heard about. I don't really have much of an opinion on it. Matt, man, what's going on, man? Tana, how would you feel if we traded down to 20 and took Tony? No. If we trade down, I don't want a wide receiver. If we want a wide receiver, take him at 11. If we're trading down with our first pick, I'm going offensive line or I'm going edge. I'm not going wide receiver. If we want a wide receiver, you take him at 11. Or you wait till 42. If I'm trading down in the first round, I'm going more for immediate need. I'm going for offensive line or I'm going for edge. And that's the more appropriate spot to take an edge. Nick, man, thank you very much. Trading up for 8 for Penei Sewell is a wet dream. I know you love the offensive lineman, my man. Giants, what's going on, man? I don't have much of an opinion. I mean, to be honest with you, I heard about it. I didn't even read much into it because I was like, I don't really care. Also, clarification for Blake: he's great against the run, but Parsons is a generational player who could do it all. I agree with that. I mean, I think he's a more potentially a more well-rounded linebacker than Blake Martinez. But Blake Martinez is very good. Was very good for the Giants last year. We don't know how long he's going to be here. I hope he gets an extension. I think he's still a very good player. What's going on there, Rel, man? Knicks tonight. I know you're pumped up about that. 10 straight. Can I get 10? Give me an amen, Rel. But yeah, man, excited for the draft, man. We're 3 days out, buddy. We're gonna be live. What time did we start? We started at 2:20. I usually we'll go to about 4:30, and then I'm gonna be live tonight for the Knicks game. So we'll be live for about another half hour. Then I'll be live tonight for the Knicks game. I gotta eat some dinner before. Big game tonight. Tomorrow we'll be live talking Giants at 8 o'clock. I'm gonna have Bobby on the channel. Gonna be talking Giants a lot leading up to the draft. Let's go, Knicks. What's going on, Nona? Taj Google Gibson will bring us to. I hope so, Mickey, man. Thanks for popping in, buddy. Amen. Let's go. There's an amen. There's an amen from Rel. I hope the Giants add blue jersey pants for an all-blue uniform. I don't like that. What do you guys think about that? I've seen prototypes for that. I've seen prototypes with the all-blue unis with the pants. I don't like that. You guys I don't like that. Maybe you guys disagree. A lot of times you guys disagree with my – what's up, Minty Sportsman? Thanks for popping in. A lot of times you guys disagree with my mindset. I'm not a big fan of the red jerseys either. I've seen the old blue, the prototype. I'm not a fan. But maybe some of you guys like it. We got a lot of no's. We got a couple of yeses. Mondo says it would be so. Bring back. I'm not a big fan of the red ones. The black alternate would be interesting. You know, I hate the Eagles, and I would never buy their jersey. I actually think the Eagles' black jersey looks pretty cool. A black jersey as an alternate might be interesting. I'm not a fan of the old blue. I'm just not. I think our color rush jersey is fantastic. David, man, thank you very much. I have a feeling that Denver could trade up for a quarterback with Atlanta. Do you feel that's possible, or will the Falcons take Surtain at 4 instead of Pitts? Yeah, I actually said that earlier, David. Not only do I think it's possible, I think it's borderline probable. I'm going to do my final mock before the draft starts, probably the day before, just a first round, not a 6th round. And I think that's a trade I'm going to have. I think that's very possible. I don't think Denver's sold on Drew Lock. And I don't think it'll happen until they're on the clock if it does happen, because they'll want to see what quarterback is there. But if the 49ers take Mac Jones and the Falcons want to trade out and they could have their choice of Justin Fields or Trey Lance, I think it makes a lot of sense for Denver to trade up. I could definitely see that, because the Falcons aren't trading that far back either. They're dropping from 4 to 9. They're probably getting a future first, maybe a second from this year. I think it makes a lot of sense. Jimmy, man, thank you very much. Chances of this happening are nearly impossible. But if we take Parsons or a wide receiver at 11, would you rather Creed Humphrey, Dickerson, or away in the second? I don't think it's impossible at all. At all. I actually think it's somewhat probable. I don't know probable, but very possible. I think wide receiver of Parsons is very possible. I'm leaning wide receiver right now in the first. And if we go wide receiver in the first, Dickerson, I think, is going to be there. I think teams are going to be scared of his injury history. I wouldn't mind him in the second. I think he's a first-round talent just with injury history, and he's capable of playing both center and guard. Jason Oweh, I like as a second-round prospect, not a first-round prospect. He's definitely got a lot of potential with his pro day numbers and everything else. He got a number of pressures while at Penn State, just no sacks. And Creed Humphrey, I'm leaning the Steelers are going to take him at 24. But I could see him leaking into the second round. I wouldn't be shocked. I definitely think one of those three will be there first at 42, if not two. Probably not all three, but at least one, if not two. And Amen, thank you very much. Crazy talk here. Trade back with Cleveland for Odell. You lost me already. And whatever the other compensation works out to be, take Rousseau at 26. Not happening. You know, and I know there's a lot of Giants fans that love Odell Beckham. We're not trading back. Why would we trade back from 11 to 26 to get Odell Beckham on this team? Let's comprehend what that means. We're dropping 15 spots. We're adding a wide receiver who already makes a lot of money, who's coming off a third injury, a major injury this year, who we traded in the first place because we didn't think he fit the locker room culture, rather than just drafting a receiver at 11. That has no injury baggage, that's not making the same amount of money, that we don't feel like we had to trade away. Doesn't make sense. Odell Beckham is not going to be a Giant. It's not going to happen. Maybe in 4 years, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen. But thank you very much, buddy. I appreciate it. And Jim, thank you very much. Trade 11th to Baltimore for 27 and 31. Yeah, somebody, by the way, Jim, somebody said that, and I apologize. Somebody mentioned me on Twitter the other day, and I missed it. And I hope he's in the chat right now. I missed it, and I apologize. Matter of fact, I can tell you who it was. Meant to do that when the stream started. I don't like misinterpreting Super Chats, and that one I did. I missed what he said, and it was from You Never Have to Wonder. He said, yo, Dana, how about, I think it was the same trade scenario. How about we trade down from 11th and a 2022nd third to the Ravens for 27 and 31 and a third and get Phillips, Jenkins, Zave Collins, and Roche and Barton. And I kind of scoffed at it because I didn't see the 31. So I apologize for that if you're watching the stream. That's my bad. As far as that trade goes, yes, they recently picked up the 31 pick from the trade that they just made. If you get 27 and 31, and then you want to. I mean, I personally don't want to drop that far, Jim. I really don't. That's a lot of spots. I really don't want to drop that far back, Jim. I really don't. But 27 and 31 is probably fair compensation. You're getting two back end of the first round picks. The Ravens come up. Maybe they get the wide receiver that they desperately need. It depends on how you feel about the draft board and how highly you feel about that prospect at 11. But me personally, I'm not in favor of trading all the way back to 27. But, is it probably fair compensation? Yeah. And you'd fill a lot of holes that way. So I wouldn't want to do it, but I think it's fair compensation. Matthew, man, thank you very much. What if the first two games are away at Kansas City, then home, then at LA Lakers? What player What player in the draft helps best to win our first two games? We can't start 0-2 again and again. I'm trying to think who we play this year. I think you mean the Rams. We play the Rams this year, right? We play the Rams this year, right? I think. I don't think he'd be saying the Chargers. Do we play the Rams this year? We play the NFC South, but I think we finished in the same spot in the division as the Rams. Yeah, I think he means the Rams. I don't think he means the Chargers. So if our first two games are away and we play Kansas City and the Rams, what player in the draft helps us to win our first two games? Well, the first thing I'll say, if our first two games are on the road, our first two games are on the road. There's nothing you can do about it. It's bad luck. If we play the Rams or the Chiefs and we start 0-2, we start 0-2. The one thing that you could say about that is, well, we got those games out of the way. We don't got to play them again further along in the season. And what I'm going to tell you is no matter who we had in the draft, we're going to be underdogs, probably against both teams. But, whether it be the Chiefs, whether it be the Rams, we're going to be underdogs. I mean, if we're being fair, those might be the two Super Bowl favorites going into the year. So that's just bad luck with the scheduling. So I don't think I never think you should draft just thinking about this year, ever. I think that's the worst thing you could ever do. I think you should always take it all into account. You should think about this year, but as well as the future, especially as the draft gets further along. You never just think about the present. You think about building your team for the next 5 years. But the one player that would probably help us the most this year at 11, if I'm being honest, the immediate impact player that got the position that's probably the easiest transition, the immediate impact, probably Parsons. Probably Parsons. If not him, maybe one of the wide receivers. But I'd probably say Parsons. But I don't think they're going to take him due to character concerns. I really don't. But thank you very much, Matthew, man. I really appreciate it. And Darren, man, thank you very much. Saw a report of Arizona maybe trading up for a wide receiver. I saw that too. It was a couple of days ago, I think. It might have been a mock. I remember seeing that. I don't remember if it was in a mock or if it was a legitimate, but I did see that. I didn't talk about it, but I did see it. I think that'd be a stupid decision by them. I mean, they just traded away a ton to get Hopkins. Their offensive line sucks. They need help on the defense. I think that'd be a bad decision by them. But I welcome it if they traded up. Abe, he says, just messing with you, Tana. You didn't disappoint. Appreciate it, Abe, my man. And Manny says, Tana, I would take Odell back in a heartbeat. You'd have to be the winners in a pick compensation if you're giving them 11 and taking on his contract. I would take Odell back in a heartbeat. You have to be the winners in pick compensation. Oh, I would not. I would not. Man, and I respect everybody's opinion, and you probably love Odell. Let's look at Odell real quick, Manny. Let's look at let for argument's sake, let's take a look. Let's take a look at Odell right now. First off, we both recognize that Odell Beckham is coming off a horrible injury, right? That forced him to miss the entire year. Odell's going to be 29 next year. 29. Odell Beckham over the last 4 years has played 4 games, 12 games, 16 games, and 7 games. So he's missed legitimate time in 3 out of the last 4 years. In his 2 years in Cleveland combined, in 23 games, has 7 touchdowns. I believe 2 of his 3 from last year came against the worst defense in football, the Dallas Cowboys. So without that, he's got 1 touchdown against the league's worst defense last year. He had 319 yards in 7 games. He's not the same receiver. He's not even close. Odell Beckham in his first 3 years had 35 touchdowns. In his last 4 years, he's got 16. Less than half. And he's had major injuries. And he makes a boatload of money. No. You draft your wide receiver. You don't trade for an old broken down one. Makes no sense. 0 sense whatsoever. No sense. But thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. At least in my opinion. Darius Slayton had more touchdowns in his rookie year than Odell Beckham has since he's been in Cleveland. Think about that. Darius Slayton had more touchdowns in his rookie year than Odell Beckham has had since he's been in Cleveland. Think about that. And Manny, man, right. By the way, currently on the 334 to Wanto, about to start a stand-up New York Giants fans. I get you a few more subs. I appreciate it, Manny, man. Thank you very much, buddy. I appreciate it. Connor, man, thank you very much. What's wrong with Parsons? Look into it. I'm not going to get into the specifics here, but it's not just one instance. It's multiple. But sexual stuff, look into it. It's multiple things, though. It's not just one thing. But it's all over the internet. You could find it. But yeah, some of it was the stuff at Penn State. But even before then, there was stuff in high school. G Nation, man, thank you very much. Says, hell no, Odell. There's no point. You could draft your future Odell. There's no point. He says, one factor regarding Odell, Joe Judge. Listen, if you could get Odell back here for peanuts, okay. I'm not giving up the 11th pick for him. That's crazy. I'm not doing that. You want to get him back here for peanuts? Okay. But to me, draft Devontae Smith if you want a wide receiver. Draft Jalen Waddle. Draft the guy that does not have the baggage of Odell Beckham. Draft the guy that makes less. Draft the guy that is 21 years old, who's not almost 30, who has no injury history. Draft the wide receiver. Draft your future Odell. Don't draft the past. Don't trade for the guy that is not what he used to be. What's going on there, Vincent? He says, what's up, Chris? How would you feel about Smith, Carlos Basham, and Ben Cleveland in the first 3 rounds? Well, obviously, Devontae Smith, there's nothing you can complain about there. Heisman Trophy winner, caught for like 2,000 yards last year. It would help. Carlos Basham is a good edge rusher who's probably projected to go right around there. And that's a good first 3. It's a good first 3. I would love Cleveland in the 3rd. I'm a big fan of Ben Cleveland. Obviously, he's got the ties to Andrew Thomas. They've played together. You got some chemistry there. It's a good first 3. I think most Giant fans would be very happy with that first 3 vintage. And Authentic says, no one would give the number 11 pick. Just silly, but let's not act like OBJ is nowhere. Oh, I'm not saying that. I'd probably take Slayton, though, right now. But no, OBJ is better than Slayton. But Slayton makes like $800,000. Doesn't have an injury history. I would take Slayton because I'm paying Slayton nothing. OBJ would have to pay $16 million coming off an injury. I would take Slayton because I'd rather have that extra $15 million to spend elsewhere on the roster. Because right now, OBJ has clearly demonstrated over the last 3 years he is not worth $16 million. It's just not. I don't care how much people have OBJ. That's just facts. The guy's produced 7 touchdowns in 2 years while at Cleveland. And people want to say they got weapons. I don't care. He's produced 7 touchdowns in 2 years. And when you look at Odell Beckham's game logs, I could jump into it if you guys really want. When you look at when you jump into Odell Beckham's game logs, last year, Odell Beckham had 319 yards. In the game against Dallas, he had 319 yards. Let's go over his game logs. First game of the year, 3 catches, 22 yards, no touchdown. Second game of the year, 4 catches, 74 yards, 1 touchdown against the Cincinnati Bengals, one of the worst defenses in football. Third game of the year, 4 catches, 59 yards, no touchdowns. Fourth game of the year against the worst defense in football, 5 catches, 81 yards, 2 touchdowns. 2 of his 3 touchdowns came against Dallas. At that point in time in the season, the Dallas Cowboys were an historically bad defense, like the worst of all time. Then after that, 3 catches, 51 yards, 2 catches, 25 yards. He had 2 of his 3 touchdowns against the league's worst defense. Odell Beckham is not near what he was. Odell Beckham will not be a Giant. Let's get over it. Let's get our future Odell Beckham. He's done. Not with the Giants, he's done. Hey, man, thank you very much. Where's Cosme projected to go? Sam Cosme is projected to go probably early second round. He might be there at 42. Early second round. I could see him going in the first if a team really likes him. Good tackle prospect. Early second round, if I had to guess. Maybe a little bit before the Giants pick. Giants could potentially get him, though. Octave, man, thank you very much. Favorite Giant to watch can be current or past. Eli. Always going to be Eli. Eli's my favorite Giant of all time. So, Eli. But in terms of I love watching Saquon when he's healthy. I freaking love Saquon. Justin Tuck I used to love. Brandon Jacobs I used to freaking love watching when he would truck people. Might be Brandon Jacobs. Brandon Jacobs used to be fun. Man. What's up there, Kevin, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, my man. Would you take... Yeah, I didn't get a chance to appreciate LT. I've seen clips, but I didn't get a chance to appreciate LT. I would say more than likely LT if I got to watch him. Mock draft, trade back with the Raiders, get their first this year. Well, there were rumors that the Raiders were potentially interested in a quarterback. 17, take Phillips. 42, take Leatherwood. Chaz Surratt. Rondell Moore ain't getting to 76. I don't think so. I would be surprised. He does have an injury history. Maybe he drops. I don't think he's going to drop to 76. The rest, I think, are Yeah, I think all those guys. I think Surratt, you're probably reaching at 48. Leatherwood, 42. That's probably where he should go. Phillips at 17 is realistic. I would be surprised if Rondell Moore is there at 76. If you flipped it, I think it's more realistic. If you took Moore at 48 and Surratt at 76. Robert, man, thank you very much. Been saying it since day one. Trade down to 15 if possible. Even Dave Gettleman hinted to trading down in his presser. If we could trade that, again, I think it depends on who's on the board at 11. But if it makes sense and we could trade down and you get future draft capital, and say you want Jalen Phillips, or say you want, I don't know, Olzari, and you could get them at 15, you should trade down if the right deal is there. John, man, thank you very much. This year's draft class is stacked wide receivers and offensive line with good values in the first 3 rounds. Why not draft defense at 11 to secure a great talent? That's the problem, though, John, for me. Outside of Parsons, who has character concerns, unless you're going corner, which we don't really need on this team right now, where's the great talent at 11? Do you really think Jalen Phillips is a great talent? Like, he could be. He also could retire after his first year. Do you think that's worth the 11th pick? Do you think Azeez Ojulari is a great talent? I don't. I think there's questions there. Do you think Kwity Paye is a great talent? I don't. So if they're okay with Parsons in terms of his character stuff, I could get on board with that. But we'll see. And Jason, man, thank you very much. Give me Parsons in the first, Trey Smith in the second, Ben Cleveland in the third, Tyler Shelvin in the fourth. Boom! I'd be ecstatic. Defense lethal, IBB. That's a lot of beef. That is a ton of beef if you do that. Trey Smith does have ties to one of the coaches on our staff. We have the former Tennessee head coach on our staff. So there's some ties there. Interior offensive lineman, Ben Cleveland, another beef guy there from Cleveland. And Tyler Shelvin, I think, weighs, I don't know, he's like 300 and he's big. The defensive tackle out of LSU. So I like Tyler Shelvin, though. He's a guy that I definitely have as a potential 3rd or 4th round. More so 4th round if he's there. I don't think I want to draft him in the 3rd. But I do like Tyler Shelvin. I think could be a replacement for Dalvin Tomlinson down the line. I do like Tyler Shelvin. Kevin, man, thank you very much. Top 3, Devontae Smith, Joseph Asai. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Listen, I could see them going that route. There's a lot of I keep talking about it, man. If they're going to go that route, here's my dream. If they go that route, because I think there's several combinations you could go. You go wide receiver 1, edge 2, O-line 3. You go O-line 1, edge 2, wide receiver 3. But if they went that route, let's just say they went the route that you just said, just in terms of position, wide receiver, edge, offensive line. If we're going offensive line in the 3rd round, I have 2 names in mind. That I like. And everybody's got their preference. One's Ben Cleveland, because of his ties to Thomas and because I like him a lot. And the second one's Kendrick Green. And I've said him several times. I'm a big fan of Kendrick Green. I like Kendrick Green a lot out of Illinois. So if they're gonna elect to go that route, those are the 2 guys I'd want in the 3rd round if they were there. What's your edge rankings? See, okay. When I say my edge rankings, I'm going to say it just for the Giants because I don't care about any other team. I'm going to take into account the scheme that we run. Okay? Let me just pull up all the edge rushers right now. And I'll give you my top 5 because off the top of my head, but I just want to look at it in case I forget anybody. Obviously, you got Jalen Phillips, you got Azeez Ojulari, you got Kwity Paye. But let me look at all the edge prospects, NFL Draft 2021. I'm going to think about our scheme, though, because for me, I've said I think Ojulari fits the scheme the best out of anybody in this draft class at that position. I would probably go, if we're just talking skill, and I'm not worried about injuries, I'd have Phillips at 1. I'd have Phillips at 1 if we're just talking skill. Okay? At 2, for us, I would put Azeez Ojulari. I think Ojulari fits the scheme beautifully. I think he's a really good fit. There are things that are concerning, just like any edge rusher in this draft class. That's why they're not going high-end first round. But I would probably have him 2. 3 for the Giants, I'd probably have Kwity Paye. 4, I'd probably have Jason Owe. And then 5 for me is either Perkins or Rousseau. I think that, but it's a clear top 4. I'm not in love after that. But that would be my clear top 4. That'd be my clear top 4. But yeah, I think Phillips is the best, but I worry about the injuries. So that's why I probably would lean Olajari just for the Giants specific, but I don't want any of them at 11. John, man, thank you very much. I think Parsons and Surtain are worth it at 11. And to be fair to Parsons, not condoning his decisions, but he has a kid. I don't see the Giants judging his character for things that happened when he was young. We'll see. Listen, here's the other thing I'm going to say. If the Giants end up taking him, John, it's what I've said all along. I'm going to get on board with it. I'm going to say I trust the Giants. They have a member on their coaching staff that used to coach him at Penn State with Sean Spencer. I'm going to trust the Giants that they did their due diligence, that they think that this kid will not be a problem, and that they believe in his character. I'll trust it, and I'll be ecstatic with the pick. But if you ask me, I don't think they're going to take him. But I hope I'm wrong. I like Parsons. I'd be happy with Parsons. I just don't think they're going to take him. Would you take a hat? Yes, absolutely. Hubby Holmes Cole. I think in every mock draft I've done so far, I've had the Giants taking a running back, but I do it in like the 6th. I personally, and a lot of people say Sermon in the 4th. I don't like taking running back before the 6th. I think it's a need, but I think we need a third running back. We need a depth running back. We need a change of pace running back. And I think you could find that in the 6th round. One guy that I really like as the draft has gotten much closer is Hawkins. I like Hawkins a lot out of Louisville. He's a little squirt. The guy's 183 pounds, but that guy is fast. He is explosive. The other one being Elijah Mitchell, I think it is, out of from the Raging Cajuns. Elijah Mitchell's another guy that I really like. He's got ties to our offensive line coach. Those are 2 6th-round linebackers that I like for the New York Giants in this year's draft. Yeah, he's a little megget. What's going on there, yo, Elvis, man? Thanks for popping in. Chris, this is a bit off topic, but who's finishing in the top in the 10 spot in the East? The Raptors, Wizards, or Bulls? Oh, I don't know. I'd have to look at their schedule, but I mean, I know that the Wizards right now are red hot. So I'd probably go with them. I mean, maybe they get the 9 though. I'd have to look at their schedule. Out of those 3, who do I think finishes the highest? I'd say the Wizards. They've won like 6 straight, haven't they? Or 8 straight, I think. I'd say the Wizards out of those 3 finished the highest. Subtana, wow, I didn't know if you have heard, but damn, you looking like Michael B. What's up, Zany, man? Yeah, the Wizards are hot, man. For me in the first, hold on one second. Sorry about that. For me in the first round, Waddle, Wyatt Davis, Josh Meyer. We're not getting, well, maybe. I doubt Roche's there first in the 4th. Michael, man, thank you very much. Let's trade with Atlanta with the 11th pick and Butterfingers. I mean, Evan Ingram and get the 4th pick. Not happening. You could dream. Michael, you could dream, man. Not happening. We're not jumping 7 spots in the first round because of Evan Ingram. Matter of fact, Michael, if we trade Evan Ingram, we may have to drop in the draft. They may say, if the Giants trade the 11th pick and Evan Ingram, we may get the Atlanta Falcons 7th round pick in this year's draft. We may. No, I'm kidding. But no, we would not be able to jump that much. And what's going on there, Rowan, man? Thanks for popping in. You were forgetting a running back on our roster. Oh, you talking about Platzgummer, Keith? Is that who you're talking about, Sandro Platzgummer? I'm rooting for Sandro Platzgummer if that's who you're talking about. Foreign kid. He has no experience in the NFL. Maybe they feel highly about him. They did sign him. That doesn't mean he's going to make the roster. He could be on the practice squad. Maybe he's the 4th running back. Maybe he's the 3rd running back. Good point, Keith. Maybe Platzgummer proves to be worthy of that 3rd running back. Good point. We'll see. Tana, is Parsons the Laramie Tunsil of this draft? Could be. But I think his allegations are much more serious, obviously, than that of Tunsil's. The Tunsil thing was a joke. For a guy to drop as far as he did, James Earl, to my knowledge, he was, but I think a lot of people are rooting for him, and I get it, but he's developmental. Maybe he'll develop into a 3rd running back. Who knows? But I would not be against drafting a running back. He's the backup, Zany. I didn't forget about him. Devontae Booker's the backup. I'm talking about the 3rd running back. Danny Dimes, the king of New York. We'll see, my man. Freiermuth, I don't want to draft a tight end. We got more important needs on this team. Me personally, I don't want to draft another tight end. We're going to go for another 5 minutes, guys, and then I'll be live for the Knicks tonight. I'll be live again tomorrow night for the Giants. Then I'll be live for the Knicks again the following night, but I'll probably be live midday Thursday, I'm sure, or Wednesday rather. I'm sure there's going to be stuff coming out. And then obviously live for the draft for 3 straight days. But I just want to say thank you to all you guys for all the support, man, that you guys always show. Always have a lot of fun in these midday streams. Can't say thank you enough. Love talking Giants football with you guys, man. I'll field a couple more questions before I finish. But thank you guys, man, for all the love and all the support you guys always show. Thank you guys for tuning in, man. I'll be watching an AC. You're an AC, man. Good luck, buddy. Dr. Drake in the house. Devontae Smith first. Creeder Dickerson second. Quincy Roche third. Let's go, Big Blue. That's a good top 3. 6th. Dave, 4th at the earliest. I prefer the 6th. Logan says, breaking news, the Giants have not. That's true. Octave says, 1st round AVT, 2nd round Joe Tryon, 3rd round Shelvin. It's not sexy, but it's effective. You get your offensive lineman, you get your edge, and you get your interior defensive lineman. You don't get a wide receiver in that situation. A lot of Giants fans will be upset about that. Some may feel that Shelvin's more of a 4th round prospect, but that's a solid top 3. It's a solid top 3. I like AVT. Solid top 3. AVT, not ACT. Elijah Vera Tucker out of USC, offensive lineman. Guard/tackle. Elijah Vera Tucker. He's projected to go around 13 to the Chargers in most mock drafts. Elijah Moore is who I want to. He's a slot guy. I think Elijah Moore is a clear replacement for Sterling Shepard in the future. I still think Shepard would start this year, but I think he's a clear guy that could step in for Shepard in the future. He's a slot guy, but I do like him. Yeah, you got it, Matt. You got it, Adam. If Pitts somehow falls to 7, no. I know everybody loves Kyle Pitts. No, I don't want to trade up for a tight end. I just don't. If he's there at 11, let's rock. But no, I don't want to trade up for a tight end. Jabril Cox. I actually had Jabril Cox mocked in one of my mocks. I like him too. He's a good coverage linebacker. Would fit our scheme. Definitely got to keep your eye on in day 2. Trayvon Grimes in the 4th. He's the isn't Trayvon Grimes the wide receiver out of Florida? He's like the wide receiver out of Florida nobody's talking about. I haven't done a ton of research into him, but I know he's the Gators' other wide receiver. I haven't done a ton of research into him. It was stupid, James. That was so dumb. And I get that it was a different point in time then, even though it was only, 5 years ago? Like now, weed is much more acceptable than it was then. It's going to be legal pretty much in every state. But that was so stupid that he fell as much as he did because of that. It was so dumb. Do you want I do not. I do not want Horn at 11. If we trade it down, sure. Gallman's gone, man. Gallman signed with the 49ers. He's gone. Can one of these corners become Jeff Okudah? That's asking a lot. Well, Jeff Okudah sucked this year, Anthony, but I do think Jeff Okudah is going to be really good. I don't think any of these corners are on the same level Okudah was coming into the pros. Okudah was like a once-in-a-generational prospect at the cornerback position, like once every 5 or 6 years type prospect. Guy didn't commit a penalty his last year while at Ohio State. So I don't think any cornerback is thought to be on that level coming in, but could they be better? Yeah. Okudah sucked his first year. Who's a receiver we could target in the 2nd round? I think there's a few. Kadarius Toney's a name that comes to mind. If he falls, Rondell Moore's a possibility. Elijah Moore's a possibility. I think those are the 3 most likely. Terrace Marshall, but I think he'll be gone. I have him going to the Ravens. I would say one of those 3, if we're looking for a 2nd round wide receiver, more than likely will be the pick. Kadarius Toney, Rondell Moore, or Elijah Moore. I think those are the 3 most likely candidates if we're going with a 2nd round wide receiver. I'm a I'm not sure. Julius Randle. I'm not sure who I root for. Hold on. Let me. Who's that? Who's that there? Is that a Cowboys helmet? I'm not too sure who I root for, Julius Randle. But thank you for popping in, Julius. I need you to drop 40 tonight, my man. Where do you think our offense and defense will rank this year? I will go defense. I think will be top 6 or 7, maybe even top 5. I think the offense will be league average. I think the offense will be right around 16, and I think the defense will be close to top 5, if not top 5. That's my prediction right now. Of course, there's injuries, and you can't predict that. Football is a game of unpredictability, but I'm leaning top 5 for the defense, and I'm leaning around league average for the offense. How far to trade back before JOK? I think if we trade back to 15, JOK becomes a possibility. John, man, thank you very much. Parsons, Wyatt Davis, Nico Collins, Trey Sermon. You get your linebacker, you get your guard, you get your wide receiver, and you get your running back. Not bad. Pretty good. Solid. Very good. You don't really get an edge in that situation, but Parsons, could rush the passer. He's not really an edge, though. Nico Collins could be a solid receiver for the future. Trey Sermon, a good backup running back. Wyatt Davis could start day 1 at the guard spot. It's a good top 4. Good top 4. But guys, I am gonna wrap it up, man. I just want to say thank you guys so much, man. Always love doing the midday streams. I'll be live tomorrow night with Bobby from Talking Giants. It'll either be 8 or 8:30. Not sure what time we're gonna do it, but it'll be 8 or 8:30 when I normally do it. Probably live for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Talk Giants with you guys. I don't know how long he could do it, but if he has to leave after an hour, I'll talk for you guys for a little bit longer. Tonight, I'll be live for the Knicks. So big game tonight. Anybody that's a basketball fan, come on by. And then the night after, I'll be live for the Knicks, but I'll probably do a midday stream for the Giants. And then it'll be draft day after that. I know everybody's excited. Let's go, New York Giants fans. Stand up! New York Giants fans. We got the draft coming up. Thank you guys for all the support. Let's go, Giants.